Hey y'all. Hey, what's going on? Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I'm going to do a lot of reading today. I am well rested. I got a lot of good sleep. I was just so exhausted yesterday. You know, sometimes when you get up at 4 in the morning, um, and then you jump on your work system, you just be exhausted by the time 4 o'clock, 3 and 4 o'clock come. But I'm here. I'm alive. Hey, Bucky, Rodney, Sammy, Straight Smoke, Most Hated. So I'm going now. The other day, and again, I'm going live with A1 on Sunday. I didn't put the thumbnail out yet. I just waiting until we get closer to Sunday. Um, but when I last came on, we discussed uh, Carter G. Wood's research paper that he got a grant to write. Okay, they got a grant to write that paper. And what I want to focus on, because I'm going to do a lot of reading, I'm actually going to read the document. But before I read it, I know that I promised everyone that I would give them a copy of the document, and you can actually go on our website. I'll put the link up here. And you could get it yourself right off our website. You could read it right there because it'll always be there. And you could download it and save it to your own drive. It's 100 and something, 300 and something pages. Let me put the. Okay, that's my website, our website link. So I'm going to show you how to get it once you get there. Let me do a quick share screen. Present. And this is where you'll find all the articles that you want that I upload. Okay, so once you hit that link, and you'll copy that link right there and paste it into your browser, it will bring you to our newspaper page. This is our newspaper. We have two websites. One is for our newspapers, Copper Color Chronicles. The other one is our actual tribal website, which that's not where it is. But if you copy that link and paste it into your browser, it's going to bring you to our newspaper website page. So once you get there, you want to go at the top where you see the political action. You want to click that, the political action page, and it's going to bring you there. I'm hoping that it switches here like it's supposed to. It did. Okay. And once you get in here, you're going to see it right here. It'll always be when I have documents to share with you that you could have. You just click on this link where it says Free Negro Heads of Families. I didn't put the year, but you could just click this button and it will download. Okay. Once you click it and and you click, once you download it, you can click it and it's going to bring it up. It's going to click it into a new page. So I probably have to do a share screen because I don't think it's going to jump to the actual new page. So no, I don't. So I have to do a reshare screen. I hate when it doesn't navigate that way. But anyway, here it is. And you can, if you just want to read it on the website and you don't want to print all this out, you can also download it from here. If you click the download button up here in the far right corner, and you can download it and save it. It'll save to your drive. But if you want to just read it, and you don't want to download it, taking up space on your drives, you can also hit the plus button up here. That really makes it much bigger. Okay. And when you want to jump from page to page, there is, let's see, I got it up to 300. There is a way. If you look in this arrow, this should take you to like, oh no, that didn't work. This brings it back up. You could scroll over here on the right if you want to go down, 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 baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But there it is. So let me pin that to the top. Do. Oh my goodness. Where did it go? Hi, y'all. Y'all so quick. All right, let me pin this to the top. Pin that message to the top. All right. So this is where you'll get it from. You can read it. You can scroll down till you get to the page. Like that. Okay. So that's that. So everybody that sent me an email, you can actually go here and get it from our website. And our website address is pinned right to the top. Okay. So let me get out of there and get out of there. Put it back in here again. Copy. Paste. So there it is again. There it is again in the chat. If you hit that link, I'll replace it. If you hit that link at the pinned up there, you should get directly to our newspaper website. Oh no, what did I just do? Oh, here it is. Okay, so cool. So what I'm going to do today, let me just talk for a minute. What I'm going to do today is read all the information he wrote. I'm not going to read all 100 something pages, but I'm going to read a substantial amount. And the reason why I am going to read it, and you should have your pens and pencils, because here's what happens. Here, this is exactly what happens. That's why my thumbnail does this, because race is not a factor. When it's your turn to deceive your friends, your coworkers, your family, and innocent people, you have to lie and you have to cover up the truth. You do, by all means. And it's above their heads. If they want to keep their jobs, no matter whether they're in a public sector or private sector, if they want to keep their jobs, they must be willing to lie and cover up the truth. And that's a fact. You have to have that in your gut. And in the corporate world, that is what they're paid to do. That is what you're paid to do. But when we read, just like corporate has code, just like corporate management, no matter if it's public or private, doesn't matter. Just like they have code talk, whether it's in the courts, whether it's in corporate management, public sector, private, does not matter. They have code talk. And believe it or not, when you reach to the education status as your colleagues who are professors, the world in inner cities, our people refer to them as the boule people, the people that think they're too good or better than you know all the sayings they say about our people. Oh, they want to keep up with the Joneses. They think they're too good. They're boule. They're Christian church boys. Christian church girls. They're trying to be like white people. But you know what? White people go through the same shit too. You got to understand, when you're at corporate level, color, race, ethnicity, it's not a factor. And that's a fact. Just like people that look like us gotta hurt us at that corporate level, so do white people. They gotta hurt their friends too, and their colleagues, and their families. Now, when you look at our people who are very educated, just as I am, at the corporate level, that look like me. Think of Jasmine Crockett. She's an attorney, for God's sake. All right? Paid to do what you do. You keep believing and thinking Jasmine Crockett don't know that she's an Aboriginal American Indian. If you think that since Dane Calloway, Chief Holiday, A1, me, BAP, all been in YouTube spreading this information, don't you even think for once that Jasmine Crockett don't know that she's an Aboriginal, and Jasmine Crockett know that she ain't no goddamn, she is not from Africa. She knows she's not from Africa. And so do Michelle Obama. Michelle Robinson. They know they not from Africa. It's clear where Obama's from. That's a fact. So please don't think that people that are formerly labeled, okay, that are in high positions right now, and they're either from boomer generation. Let me tell you something. Anybody are people that, and don't forget there's two more racial identities that I have to add to this that they've placed on us: nigger Indians and Negro Indians. That's what's missing from here. And then all the rest of those names. Don't you think for 1 minute that the people in our community that are us on this main land, that are from the following generations, starting with boomers, know that they are the Aborigines, aka Indians from this land? The boomer generation, Gen X, which is my generation, millennials, and Generation Z. Generations X, Y, and Z knows that they are the Indians of this land, this here land. So when you're at the top and it just comes to you, you gotta do it. See, just like they have their little musical in the music world, I call it the music tribe that they put together. They have their sacrifices that we hear, all these crazy sacrifices that these rappers and singers got to do, sacrificing loved ones and stuff. Well, they have sacrifices at the Boule corporate level too. And when it's your turn, it's your turn. And Carter G. Woods, it was his turn. And you know him being born, and let's get his picture up, for God's sakes. Let's get his picture up. You know he was pissed, and you can hear the anger in him, you know. So just like they have code talk at all levels. And guess what? When you're in the Boule level and you look like they got code talk, and it's up to you to get yourself educated to catch on to their code talk. Now, Carter G. Woodson was born in December 19th, 1875. He would be the same era as my fourth generation grandmother. And he died in 1950. He died before I was born. He was born in Virginia. So he damn sure could be a Powhatan Indian. I'm just keeping it a buck. Okay? And he was an author, an editor, a publisher, and a historian. Carter G. Woodson. Okay? He did this research paper, and it was his turn to lie. Being in Virginia of all places, being from Virginia of all places. But he died in Shaw, Washington, D.C. So this is the man whose research paper that we're reading. All right. So that being said, I hope you have pens, and I'm going to stop and take breaks to do a little dialogue talking while I'm reading. And also, just like I said, in every world, they have code talk. Once you get up there, and once you're working in specific environments, they have code talk in the music world. They have code talk in the courtroom. They have code talk in the corporate office. And guess what? They got code talk in the boule. Because he did not die to let his people know. And I'm going to show you the code talk. All right. And you're going to know that when you're reading someone's document, your energy connects with theirs. And you begin to feel their attitude towards having to write a lie. So that being said, shout out to everybody in the chat room again. Hit the like button, share this. And I hope you have your notepads. Get your notepads. Because when you read and you download this article, you should be highlighting, making great highlights. All right. So I'm going to do a share screen. Cut my camera off. And I'm going to start reading. And I'm going to stop in certain places. So let's get it, y'all. All right. I'm going to start here. And this is written by Carter G. Woodson. Okay. So brace yourself because it's a lot of reading. And I'm going to be up here by myself while I'm reading. Because I can't get the points I want to get across to you while I'm reading. Because I want you to be able to see the exact same thing I see. So let's start. This report, and this is the same report with all the free niggas listed that we went over and had fun with the other day. Now we're going to actually read it. This report is the second of a series of documentary studies of the free Negro provided for by a grant, which the director of the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History obtained from the Laura Spelman Rockefeller Memorial in 1921. Okay? So he wrote this in 1921. We was not born. That's the silent generation. It has been an expensive undertaking, both with respect to the research required and the cost of publication. It is earnestly hoped that it will have sufficient value to justify the philanthropy and the painstaking effort which it represents. The aim of this report, like that on free Negro owners of slaves in the United States in 1830. Now remember, this is in 1830, same year as Indian removal. And this is within the United States, not anyone that's not part of the United States. This is within these 50 states. Is to promote the further study of a neglected aspect of our history. As stated elsewhere, most of these free Negroes have been forgotten, for persons supposedly well-informed in history are surprised to learn today that about 500,000, almost 1/7 of the Negroes of this country were free prior to the emancipation in 1865. It is hardly believed that a considerable number of Negroes were owners of slaves themselves, and in some cases controlled large plantations. Let's get it, y'all. As an introduction to this study of the despised group, the author deemed it wise to publish these statistics from the census of 1830. Okay? The census of 1830. Now, y'all know in 1830. Okay, we going to get there. These facts are early enough to guide one in the study of the Negro in the patriarchal slavery period, and late enough to give an index to the situation during the following century, when the institution, becoming a mere system of exploitation, tended to debase also the free Negro. Now listen to this, y'all. Listen to this next paragraph very closely. In 1830, moreover, the free Negroes had about reached their highest mark as a distinct class. As the author has stated elsewhere, the reaction which set in earlier in the century restricted their freedom and in many cases expelled them from the South. Are y'all listening? Expelled them from the South because they made themselves they were a very distinct class. They was in 1830, they was booming. Listen, y'all. This census then evidently reports the names of a larger number of representatives free Negroes than any other census prior to their debasement to a lower status or their migration from the South. Listen, their migration from the South. So all in 1830, Indian Removal Act. Listen, this trek reached its highest point between 1830 and 1835. Most of the free Negroes in the North in 1830, therefore, had been there for some years. Keep listening, y'all. These facts were extracted from the manuscript schedules returned by those who took the census of the United States in 1830. After the editor had first copied the record of one state to acquaint himself in detail with the information given in these census reports, the statistics were then copied under his direction by 3 persons. One of them has had the advantage of 2 years normal training after finishing high school, and 2 of them have completed college courses at Howard University and at the University of Michigan. The matter thus collected was then verified by Mr. Artheus Taylor, an alumnus of Michigan and Harvard, Master of Arts in History and Economics, employed as associate investigator of the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Further verification was made by the editor. Let's keep going, y'all. So now we're reading the origin of the free Negro. Then we'll be getting into preventing the increase of the free Negro. And then we'll get into the free Negro before the law. And we'll get into economic achievement and social distinctions. So let's get it, because there's a part in here that I want you to pay close attention to. Now, remind you, we read 23 states, okay, where everyone cooperated with the census takers and given information. It was only 23. Now, listen to what he says. Let's get into it. The origin of the free Negro. Inasmuch as the Constitution of the United States provided that representation in the House of Representatives should be apportioned according to the population, including all free persons, except Indians not taxed, and 3/5 of all other persons. The census records of the Negroes, although differing a little from those of the other elements of the population, were generally made. Now listen, y'all. Now, listen to our brother. Now we have the Constitution is fully written and actively in place in 1830. Now, of all the amendments and the rights in that Constitution, do you notice that the very article he pointed out was, I'm going to read it to you. You know what Article 1, Section 2. Inasmuch as the Constitution of the United States provided that representation in the House of Representatives should be apportioned according to the population, including all free persons except Indians not taxed, and 3/5 of all other persons, the census records of the Negroes. Now, he pointed out that specific article. Okay, it's 1920 something when he wrote this. Why? Wait a minute. Let me stop this for a minute. Of all the articles and the amendments, why did he just pick that one? I mean, it's in 1920 something when he wrote this research paper. Why didn't he pick the 13th and 14th Amendment? Why did he pick the one with the Indians not taxed, y'all? Shit, in 1927, he could have picked the 13th and 14th Amendment. Why he picked that one? I want to see what your comments are. Why he picked the Article 1, Section 2, the article with the Indian not taxed? Why he picked that one? Wouldn't you want to pick the one closer to what you're supposed to be writing about and stuff? Why did he even mention 13th, 14th Amendment? Carter Woods ass. He ain't even add that amendment. Oh. Excuse me, but Brownhawk, it's 1920 something that he wrote this research paper. This is 1920 something. So of him writing it, there is a 13th and 14th Amendment. He's writing it. He wrote it. You see the year he wrote this. The year that he wrote it was in the 1920s. But I'm saying he's picked that specific one because you not only, okay, he needed to pick that because he had, and not only that, he's letting you know the Indians not taxed and all the niggas that stayed, all the Indians that stayed there, that remained, all the Indians that remained, they had to get them in the system. So they got him on the 8. All right, listen now. Make this make sense. 1830 was the Indian Removal Act, right? And at the same time, 1830, these niggas came on the census. Think about that. Those wishing to remain would become citizens of the state of residence. That was real fast. They got them all on the census in 1830. When, what day? Well, let me see. All right. The census, correct, 1830 census. We know that there wasn't no 13th and 14th Amendment yet until 1865 when it was ratified. But he wrote this research paper in the 1900s, like 1920 something. And he chose to use that specific article in the Constitution because there was nobody else remaining. All you got is white people and Negroes in 1830. That is correct. But damn, in 1830, they was halfway through the year. They were halfway through the year. Okay, because you're in May. June is, now you get what I'm saying? June, you took the census in June? When did you take the 1830 census to get the niggas on the census in the community? That was real fast. After Andrew Jackson, let's see, when did um in May. It went into law in May 28th. That's halfway through the year. So you mean to tell me they hurried up, right? Right. You mean it? Okay, May 30th was when Andrew Jackson pushed out the Indian Removal Act. And we read in there how they were forced migrated from the South. So they hurry up and did it 1830 census that quick with all those people that we named. Yo, Carter G. Woods and who he was doing. Give me fire if you caught it, for real. I'm just going to let it sit out there and wait and see y'all's fire because you have to catch that. Okay, let's get it. So Carter Woods, know what the hell he was doing to his peeps. He was pissed. So let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Now, they're telling you, they're actually telling you what's happening. All right? They're telling you, I'm going to go back to of them telling you what's happening in 1830. Where'd my document go? Now, I'll be damned. I just had it up. All right. Damn this. All right, here it is. All right. Now, just earlier, we were reading up here. Listening to what's happening. Okay. What was going on in 1830 with these Negroes? In 1830, moreover, the free Negroes had about reached their highest mark as a distinct class. As the author has stated elsewhere, the reaction which set in earlier in the century restricted their freedom and, in many cases, expelled them from the South. Now, uh, why would you be expelling these Negroes, free Negroes, from the South in 1830? Wouldn't they be saying, um, with this expel? So they expel. Well, wouldn't it, if he wasn't talking about the damn Indians? Wouldn't he say, "Oh yeah, they expelled the Indians and the niggas from the South"? Because that's who the Indian was. Expelled them from the South. The expel. You mean all this expelling from the South? Listen to me, y'all. They're expelling these Negroes, free Negroes, in 1830. Moreover, okay, the free Negroes had about reached their highest mark as a distinct class. As the author has stated elsewhere, the reaction which set in earlier in the century restricted their freedom and, in many cases, expelled them from the South. You expelled them from the South. Why? In 1830, that was Indian removal. You expelling all these niggas from the South. Isn't this supposed to be Indian land? Shouldn't he be saying, well, the Indians too? Oh yeah, them too. I forgot. He ain't mentioning them because that's who it is. These Indians became these damn Negroes. And they're owning these goddamn large plantations. Boy, bye. You will not come and disturb today. You better be careful, not a coincidence, because they got their guns in the chat. He expelled them from the South. Where did they go? Forced Indian removal. That darker nigger will not be called Indian in the Constitution. That darker nigger making that money, because they formed themselves into a distinct class because they was free. They was free. They got expelled from the South. That's all Indian removal. And he can't write that in there. But he put that damn article in that bitch in 1927. There you go, Brown Hawk. And a lot of our people that didn't want to go to Oklahoma, they came north. But there was already, now you see me do Connecticut in the north, and it's way more the entire Connecticut. I mean, we couldn't even stop the damn pages. There was already a bunch of damn Indians in the north. And it goes to say this census then evidently reports the names of a larger number of representative free Negroes than any other census prior to their debasement to a lower status or their migration from the South. Oh, so they were on earlier censuses? Oh. You know, you had these dudes in here talking about, they wasn't on no, they was on the slave schedules and they wasn't on this. That was the slave was free whites. And now hold up one more second. I don't even know why I didn't get this up. Let's get it, y'all. You can't. Oh, wait a minute. Just hold on one second. Here, Miss Seeley. Wait a minute. Hang on one second. Let me just Now, wait a minute. I'm just trying to look for something here. Oh, here it is. Just give me a minute, you guys. I'm going to I did something. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now, when you look at the 1830 census, okay. Wait a minute. I want to make sure I got more as well. Wait a minute, copy. I'm just doing something back here to show you something. Okay. I just want to show you guys something. Oh God, this damn thing is so slow. Okay, here we go. All right, look. So now I'm gonna show you something. When you let me stop and show you this. Damn, I thought it was already up. All right. Now, this is the United States system. Now, when you look for the 1830 census, it says free whites. And then when you get to the bottom, y'all look at this shit. You can't make this up. The 1830 censuses was like this. All of them. Right? And they're showing it's free whites, free white persons, including heads of families. Okay. And then when you go down to the bottom, I'm trying to find where it says, let me see, up here. No, this is all free white persons. All right. Underage and all this. That's all it says. and has a person. Okay. That's on this one. Then when you go to this, let me try this. Try it this way. Share screen. Entire screen. Let me try it this way. Okay, share. I think this will work better. And here's the census sheet, right? This is another one. I pulled up a second one. They're all alike. All right. It's saying free white persons. Free white persons in here, right? Including heads of families, right? Now, let me show you this. Then when you go on Ancestry database, they say 10 slaves. So it must be white persons. You see 10 slaves. Free white slaves, free color, but there's no color listed on there on that database. Then when you go, let me stop it for a minute. Let me stop the share screen for a minute. Because this shit is unbelievable. I mean, I'm just like livid at this point. Completely livid. Let me see if because I want to find something else. Let me get to the home page. I want to find something else. Oh my goodness. This is so ridiculous. They should give you something. Let me see. They used to, I got to look in the right place. Oh, that's what I had to do. Just give me a minute, y'all, because I'm looking up something else. Okay. Hang on, my loves. I'm grabbing it now. I'm looking at it. Hold up. Wait a minute. I know they didn't do. Oh, let me see. Wait a minute. Here we go. Wait a minute. I think I got it now. Slave schedule. This is a bullshit. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. No color on this shit. Why do they do this? Hold up, y'all. I'm coming. I'm just trying to filter it. out. Damn it. Hold up, y'all. All right. All right. All right. So I'm just gonna do this. Here you go. This is supposedly be the slave schedules. Slave schedule. Okay, maybe this one's a little better. Now, look at this shit. I gotta reshare. Look at this. And they do this for a reason. Hey, Master of Self. Hey, y'all, look at this shit. Now, this is a slave schedule. In here, they got color, right? The color. They didn't go by race. Here's the slave owner, right? They won't give the names. They don't give the names, but they give the slave owner. And they're all black. Now, look. This is how you know this shit is crazy. Now, here's Mays, right? Mayo, whatever. 22-year-old is the oldest person in the house. Female, color, black, right? This is Mr. Mayo something. And this is a slave schedule. And his slave is 12 years old, 5 years old, and 3 years old. Now, you're a Negro, okay? On this, they got him listed as B for black because they went by color of skin. And a 12-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. Okay? And he's 22. Same situation here. They have a 30-year-old, right? This is the slave owner. The head of the households are right here. A 30-year-old, a 6-year-old, and then a 45-year-old. This person's last name is Miller, 6 years old. And then a 45-year-old, Frances Redmond. And she's ahead, right? And then there's a 23-year-old, a 26, 15, 14-year-old, a 50-year-old, an 18-year-old, 3 18-year-olds, all these people on this damn farm. And the person, all of them belong to the Redmond, right? 33 males and 45 females. Slaves, right? And the owner is black. I'm fucking done. Thank you, Carter G. Woods. I think and I believe I proved smart as hell. Yep, Juice. He was smart as hell. He knew what to do. All right, y'all, let's get back to it because I don't want to get too far off track. But I'll be there. This is why, it's so important for us to read. I'm going to get back to it because this is the shit. Out of this whole document, they mentioned the word Africa like 3 times. Now, what's killing me is it answers a lot of the questions that A1 is going to be able to substantiate with the stuff that he tells you. Because as far as this being our sister, man, listen, they had earlier censuses than 1830 before the Indian Removal Act. So let's just recap it again. In 1830, moreover, the free Negroes had about reached their highest mark as a distinct class. As the author has stated elsewhere, the reaction which set in earlier in the century restricted their freedom and in many cases expelled them from the South. This census then evidently reports the names of a larger number of representative free Negroes than any other census prior to their debasement to a lower status or their migration from the South. What does debasement mean? Look it up, y'all. Come on. Debasement. They got shut down because they were so goddamn prosperous. Debasement is the process of spoiling something or reducing its value by combining it with another material. How do you debase a fucking Indian? How do you lower the value or reputation of someone or something to make it less respected? How do you debase someone to a lower status? Come on, y'all. Y'all know. By mixing it with another material. How do you do that, y'all? I can't do that right now, Copper. I'm just focusing on this document, love, sweetheart. How do you debase it? This census then evidently reports the name of a larger number of representative free Negroes than any other census prior to their debasement to a lower status or their migration from the South. This trek reached its highest point between 1830 and 1835. Most of the free Negroes in the North in 1830, therefore, had been there for some years. How do you debase it? I just showed. I just read. You mix it. You reduce its value by combining it with another material. Who were and who did they combine the niggas with to get that lower status or lower that lower status? See, if you're Indian, you're at your highest status on the land. But when you combine them with African Americans, let's get it, y'all. What happens to the value of the reputation, the identity? What happens when you mix it with another material? your status, your value. They spoiled it. Debasement is the process of spoiling something or reducing its value by combining it with another material. What's the other motherfucking material? There you go, isness, baby. You are no longer in that status, Indian status. You have been debased. You have been linked with African right out your land. That's called excelled in your own goddamn land. You lost your value. You lost your reputation, your status, your quality, to lower the value or reputation of someone or something, to make less respected. To lower your own standing, esteem, or dignity by actions that are considered dishonorable or beneath your status. Debasement. To cause deterioration or lowering in quality or character. Debase implies a loss of position, worth, value. There you go. That's right, Curious. There you go. Now you're not Indian. Not he put that there. You've been debased by this government. That's a fact. Carter knew what the fuck he was doing. That's why he put that. That's exactly why he put that article there. In 1920, if you was African, okay, or African slave, he would have put the 13th Amendment, being that he wrote it so that it can apply to you. But in 1837, that didn't apply to Africans. In 1830, that article, that applied to the niggas. That was their new identity. They have been debased. All right. So let me get back to the document. Oop. Let me get back to my document. Oh my goodness. Okay, so most of the free Negroes in the North in 1830 therefore had been there for some years. These facts were extracted from the manuscript schedules returned by those who took the census of the United States in 1830. After the editor had first copied the record of one state to acquaint himself in detail with the information given in the census reports, the statistics were then copied under his direction by three persons. We already read that. The dude that had got out of high school, who had already 2 years of normal training experience, and then two of them have completed college courses at Harvard University and at the University of Michigan. The matter thus collected was then verified by Dr. Artheus Taylor, an alumnus of Michigan and a Harvard Master of Arts in History and Economics, employed as associate investigator of the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Further verification was made by the editor. So now let's get back down to where we was. Now, I just got to read this again because I'm just like wowed with this and that that article of his referencing. And as much as the Constitution of the United States provided that representation in the House of Representatives should be apportioned according to the population, including all free persons except Indians not taxed. Because white people was free. And so were these Negroes. But were they Negroes? That's just something that the United States named them. But were they Negroes? No. Although differing a little from those of the other elements of the population were generally made, the data with respect to the slave and free colored population increased from census to census in the proportion as the schedules became more elaborate. Okay, so we got free. Now they done jump to free. The data with respect to the slave, now they're mentioning the slave, and free colored population increased from the census to census in the proportion as the schedules became more elaborate. So now you got the slave, you got the free colored population, but we're reading about the origin of the free Negro. So now you see how all these, it's just so crazy that the Indians were the darker Indians were given all these fucking labels. Because now you got the slave, that's a status. Then you got the free colored, that's another status. And then you got, oh my goodness. The data with respect to the slave and free colored population increased from census to census in the proportion as the schedules became more elaborate. By 1850, moreover, the statistics returned for the free colored population were about as much detailed as those for whites. Really? However, fewer inquiries were made with respect to the slave population. Most of these distinctions in taking the census passed away with the abolition of slavery. Prior to 1790, it was almost impossible to figure out exactly how many Negroes were slaves and how many were free. Listen. I'm going. Y'all know what? Now look at here now. Now we're going prior to 1790. We going to fucking 1600s now. Prior to 1790, it was almost impossible to figure out exactly how many Negroes were slaves and how many were free. In fact, we do not yet know how many Negroes were actually imported as slaves. So you're all Africans. God damn it. According to Carey, now whoever the hell Carey is, the total number up to 1808 aggregate about 340,000. Others believe, now listen, y'all, others believed, okay, believed that there were brought in probably as many as 400,000. Y'all, this is a hot fucking mess. Believed. Oh, they believed. Better estimates are impossible here because of the variation in the annual importation as a result of many influences. From 1760, now we way the hell down to 1760. We done went down 30 years earlier. From 1760 to 1770, there was a decided increase in the number brought in. A decided increase. Y'all, it's a hot mess. Carter Carter Woodson is on the motherfucking money. From 1770 to 1790, however, when the spirit of freedom was strong as a result of the struggle for the rights of man during the American Revolution, this number decreased. After it was decided by the framers of the Constitution in 1787 that the slave trade should be prohibited after 1808, several of the southern states, feeling that they were dependent upon slave labor, imported as many as possible during the period immediately preceding that date. Now listen, let's get back to this. Let me go down there. I want to read right. I'm going to start right here. And it goes on to saying, there were, listen, y'all, now they know the shit. Now they know. There were 757,881 Negroes in the United States, okay? Here's the 50 states boundaries in 1790. And 59,557 of these were free. Oh, now they got numbers. Oh, dang, that's why he says. Some of the Negroes early reported as slaves, however, never had such a status. At least a few of the first Negroes brought to this country were indentured servants like white persons of this class imported here during the beginning of the colonies. So now they're telling you here that black Europeans were brought here. Girl, you cannot make this shit up. Now they have numbers again, Dane. They got numbers again, Dane. Before it was impossible. Now it's possible. That Carter Woods is on the motherfucking money when he wrote this, because he wrote it exactly how they wanted it, because they didn't think you niggas, non-nigga, feeble-minded niggas would be able to figure this out. But in case you do, Carter G said, here you go. He's telling you there were 757,881 Negroes in the United States in 1790. And 59,557 of these were free. Now, how they get them damn numbers? Well, slaves, because we just read early that they brought indentured servants over, just like they did with the white folks. They brought indentured servants over. Where did the indentured servants come from? Didn't they come from Europe? Boy, bye. Now they got a number. At least a few of the first Negroes brought to this country were indentured servants like white persons of this class, imported here during the beginnings of the colonies. J.H. Russell expresses his opinion in his Free Negro in Virginia. Such Negroes, like the white indentured servants, became free at the expiration of their term of service, took up land, and in some cases became employers of indentured servants and slaveholders themselves. It is highly probable that now listen, y'all, get your motherfucking laugh off. Get your laugh off. It is highly probable that one of the 20 Negroes brought to Jamestown in 1619 became a slaveholder. Now, he became a slaveholder, but the motherfucker couldn't understand English. Get your, you know what? Yeah, yo, I just, I, man, I hold up. Yo, listen to this shit, y'all. I can't, you can't make this shit up. Carter G. Woods is funny as hell. It is highly probable that one of the 20 Negroes brought to Jamestown in 1619 became a slave holder. I let that sink in, y'all. You can't make this shit up. The higher status of the free Negro is well attested by the fact that although the colonies had special enactments protecting slave property and providing special codes and tribunals for this element of the population, that at the same time, let me get back to my document because I'm on a share screen mode, that at the same time recognized free persons of color. Now it's going to get funny. It's getting funny, y'all. After the middle, now, remind you, y'all, remember the other day on the same document further down, we went through all them damn niggas here with few white people and then 1830 controlling all these niggas. Hold up, y'all. After the middle of the century, however, it was difficult for an African immigrant to escape being reduced to slavery. All right, y'all. Okay, he's mentioning the African now, y'all. Not no Negro. He said African immigrant. After the middle of the century, however, it was difficult for an African immigrant to escape being reduced to slavery. The period in which it was possible for Negroes to come as servants and later acquire freedom terminated near the end of the 17th century. That's the 1600s, the late 1600s, y'all. The free Negro population thereafter found recruits, okay, only from children born of free Negro parents, mulatto children born of free Negro mothers, mulatto children born of white servants or free white women, children of free Negro and Indian mixed percentage, and manumitted slaves, y'all. I can't do it. I can't. I just can't. Of the children born now, y'all, okay? As he mentioned in his documents, all them damn niggas was already here. As you read in this document, they was already here. And in the North, he said they've been there for some years. Yeah, okay. Keep in mind, see, Carter is slick. He know y'all can give me fire if y'all catch his cold talk. He letting you know. He was pissed. I know he was pissed. He had to write this shit. They've been debased. Yes, D. Allen Warren. Give me the fire, y'all. I know it. I just want to know that y'all know it. Now, during the 17th century, now, man, this is a hot mess. Listen, y'all. Now, the 17th century is the 1600s. Okay. Of the children born of free Negro parents, there was a steady increase. This, of course, depended to some extent upon the increase of the number of Negroes of this status. During the 17th century, that's 1600s, there were not many free Negroes, listen, y'all, in the colonies. You're damn right it wasn't. Why? Why? Now, you had the little 13 plantations, and they're telling you we wasn't part of their shit. Open your mind. I'm going to highlight this. I'm highlighting that whole thing. Let's get it, y'all. During the 1600s, because that's the 17th century, during the 1600s, y'all better listen to Carter. During the 1600s, there were not many free Negroes in the colonies because it was all white people. During the 1600s, there were not many free Negroes in the colonies. And when the change in the attitude of the whites reduced the number of free Negro recruits from the slave population, there was not much of a prospect for an unusual increase in the number of children born of free Negro parents. Yet, as there was observed the Roman law to the effect that the child followed the condition of the mother, this source of increase was the steady factor. Now, when we're talking about the 1600s, that was when they were in British control. Man, you can't, listen. Hold up, y'all. Let me get back to where we was again. All right. Y'all, listen, honey. I'm going to read this again, okay? I'm going to read it again, and you better catch that motherfucking Indian. You better catch where you know all the Negroes was, because in the 16th century, they wasn't Negroes. They were Indians. Now, listen, because now you got to say, well, why wasn't it that many niggas in there? Because we're talking the 1600s. During the 1600s, there were not many free Negroes in the colonies. So where were the free Negroes? And when the change in the attitude of the whites reduced the number of free Negro recruits from the slave population, there was not much of a prospect for an unusual increase in the number of children born of free Negro parents. Yet, as there was observed the Roman law to the effect that the child followed the condition of the mother, this source of increase was the steady factor. Now, there you go, girly. So now, within the British, we're talking British times, when British was ruling in the 1600s. Now, you got to remember, the Indians were enslaved. When they came out, what happened? The Indians were enslaved. You're talking in the 1600s by their own chiefs. I'm gonna let this sink in, because they're already telling you in the 1600s there wasn't that many free. There were not many free Negroes in the colonies. No, they never wanted the Indians in the fucking colonies, and they still don't today. If you want to keep it a buck, they don't want you working in their businesses, indentured servitude, and in their business. That's why they do all this racial shit. Racial laws, they still today. You got them boomers and the Generation X. You can't make this shit up. The children of white men by free Negro mothers contributed much to the increase in this population. Coming from Europe, okay, without their wives, some white men, following the promptings of their nature, cohabited with Indian and Negro women. So now there wasn't that many Negroes in the colonies. All right. But the ones that was, they was making babies with them. Listen, I'm gonna just keep reading. Let me get the thing back up. You can't make this shit up. The children of white men by free Negro mothers contributed much to the increase in this population. Coming from Europe without their wives, some white men, following the promptings of their nature, cohabited with Indian and Negro women. Such mothers too might be more inclined to produce offspring when supported and protected by the fathers, and evidence of this is not wanting. The history of the colonies, we're talking colonies, especially that of Virginia and Maryland, gives numerous instances of this sort. In the course of time, however, lustful white men found it more convenient to purchase slave women who they would compel to appease their animal passions. I wanted that chocolate booty. And they still do today. There were also mulatto children born of white women servants and free white women. In the absence of the social distinctions with respect to the race, the distinction as the economic condition obtained, the white servant woman or free white woman suffering from the same poverty and discrimination as a Negro woman during the early colonial period, intermingle with Negro men who were sometimes in a better position to support them than men of their own race. Because all them Indians was free. This custom endured the generations in spite of penalties, which often meant the imposition of a fine, the reduction to servitude of the responsible parents, and the apprenticeship or servitude of the offspring. See, them are the babies later on in the years that was able to to pass the brown paper bag test. These was the babies that was able to pass the brown paper bag test, copper. With the apprenticeship, send away to nice place. Listen. Here we go. Children born of free Negro and Indian percentage also became a contributing factor. Exactly how much, however, can never be determined until the extent of the miscegenation between the Negroes and the Indians has been scientifically studied. Yo, You scientifically studied. It is known, however, that some Indians did settle among the Negroes and were cases of Negro fugitive slaves who were welcomed by the Indians. Notice had to be taken of this tendency, for such offspring often became a burden to the public. They were bound out as apprentices, as in the case of free mulatto children. Even during the apprenticeship, however, they were always regarded as free Negro population, although their liberty was decidedly restricted because they had no visible means of support. We're talking colonial. Yeah. Come on, y'all. We'll let the little special slow ones in the chat that don't get it. See, you're not connected, Shay. They don't get it. And you know what? Don't even try to explain it to them. All this works in our favor. You feel me? You feel me? In view of the fact that we find the situation of today so different from that of the early colonial period, we should probably support these assertions with cases and evidence taken from the laws of the colonies. In Maryland, for example, the preamble of the law covering the case states thus exactly what the situation was. And for as much as diverse freeborn English women, forgetful of their free condition and to the disgrace of our nation, do intermarry with Negro slaves, by which also diverse suits may arise, touching the issue of such women, and a great damage doeth befall the master of such Negroes, for preservation whereof, for deterring such freeborn women from such shameful matches it enacted. Shameful matches, y'all. That whatsoever freeborn woman shall intermarry with any slave from and after the last day of the present assembly shall serve the master of such slave during the life of her husband, and that all the issues of such freeborn women so married shall be slaves as their fathers were. And be it further enacted that all the issues of English or other freeborn women that have already married Negroes shall serve the master of their parents till they be 30 years of age and no longer. According to A.J. Calhoun, however, all planters of Maryland did not manifest so much ire because of this custom among indentured servants. Planters, said he, sometimes married white women servants to Negroes in order to transform the Negroes and their offspring into slaves. This was in violation of the ancient unwritten, this was in violation of the ancient unwritten law that the children of a free woman, the father being a slave, follow the status of their mother and are free. This custom gave rise to an interesting case. Irish Nell, one of the servants sent to Maryland by Lord Baltimore, was sold by him to a planter who had come from England. Following the custom of other masters who held white women as servants, the planter soon married her to a Negro named Butler to produce slaves. Upon hearing this, Baltimore used his influence to have the law repealed, but the abrogation of it was construed to the Court of Appeals not to have any affection on the status of her offspring almost a century later, when William and Mary Butler sued for what they sued for their freedom on the ground that they descended from this white woman. The provincial court had granted them freedom, But in this decision, the Court of Appeals reversed the lower court tribute on the ground that Irish Nell was a slave before the measure repealing the act had been passed. This case came up again in 1787 when Mary, the daughter of William and Mary Butler, petitioned the state for freedom. Both tribunals then decided to grant the petition. See, we're in colonial time now that they jumped back. He jumped back. Hey, Ebony. Hey, Bucky. What's up, y'all? Hey, girly. Hey, y'all. Give me a 1 if you're getting this. Because, see, we're in colonial times now. Now, remember, this is why he did this shit. He did this deliberately. So when you read all this, and then you go and you look. Let me see. I'm on page 18. Remember all the list of all the free Negroes, right? Now, don't forget, that massively long list was only from 23 states. And not only that, it was just a list of the heads of households. Now, on that same sheet, it had the number in parentheses of how many people were in the household. And the age ranges from 5 to 100. But for the most part, they were mostly adults. So that tripled that document. This document would have been massively long. It would have been over maybe 1,000 pages. But they just list the head of the house and just gave the number of how many people were in the house. So that's even more niggas. And the problem that the white people was having, leaders was having, was they couldn't distinguish the nigger from the African. So they was pissed. They couldn't distinguish the two. Because the Negroes was already here. They was up in mass. They was everywhere. Everywhere. They niggas all over these states. Because he said they were not cooperative. So when you go in the South, you really gonna feel it. Because when you're in the South, in the Confederate States, they just how we are right now today. We still haven't changed, and that's the truth. So this is where it come from. Look at Big Dog Philly. Get out of this state. Get away from this government. So imagine them census takers coming around to their house, and they're telling them damn census, I know, you know our people attitude. Get the fuck away from my door. I ain't put my name on there. Don't listen to nobody in my house. They probably was threatening the census takers because you know how we do. And I don't blame them. But we'll get there. Let me see. The Act of Repeal of 1681, therefore, is self-explanatory. The preamble reads, for as much as diverse freeborn English or white women, sometimes by the instigation, procurement, or convenience of their masters, mistresses, or dames, and always to the satisfaction of their lascivious and lustful desires, and to the disgrace not only to the English, but also of many other Christian nations, due to intermarry with Negroes and slaves, by which means diverse inconveniences, controversies, and suits may arise touching the issue of children of such freeborn women aforesaid, for the prevention whereof for the future. Be it enacted that if the marriage of any woman servant with any slave shall take a place by the procurement of permission of the master, such woman and her issue shall be free. It enacted a penalty by fine of the master or mistress and on the person joining the parties of in marriage. So what they was doing, because when you had the baby by the free white woman, the baby status follows the mothers. So now all these free babies are being born free from birth based on their mother's status. And when they're born, you can't tell the tawny Indian from the goddamn mulatto baby. So, and henceforth, it was loading their courts with lawsuits for people petitioning for their damn freedom. Oh, it's a hot mess, girl. It's still, oh my goodness. Y'all get this shit. Give me a 1. They was driving them damn courts crazy. You had nigga features, you was going your ass to court to say, no, you're not going to do it. So they couldn't, I really can't determine the Indians from the damn niggas. The effect of this law was merely to prevent masters from prostituting white women to an economic purpose. It did not prevent the miscegenation of the two races. McCormick says, mingling of the races in Maryland continued during the 18th century, that's the 1700s, in spite of all the laws against it. Preventing marriages of white servants with slaves only led to a greater social evil, which caused a reaction of public sentiment against the servant. Masters and society in general were burdened with the care of illegitimate mulatto children, and it became unnecessary to frame laws compelling the guilty parties to reimburse the masters for maintenance of these unfortunate waifs. To remedy this, laws were passed in 1715 and 1717 to reduce to the status of a servant for 7 years any white man or white woman who cohabited with any Negro, free or slave. Their children were made servants for 31 years. A black thus concerned was reduced to slavery for life. A black was reduced to slavery for life. And the maintenance of the bastard children of women servants was made incumbent upon masters. If the father of an illegitimate child could be discovered, he would have to support his offspring. If not, this duty fell on the mother, who had to discharge it by servitude or otherwise. As what had been done to prevent the admixture was not sufficient, the Maryland General Assembly took further action in 1728, making the provisions more stringent. We still in reading the origin of the Negro, y'all. Virginia, which faced the same problem, did not lag far behind Maryland. In 1630, see, we're in the colonial times now. We're not in, the times of when the 50 states was established. We're in like when they literally had the little 13 plantations. He said child support. Hey, y'all, let me see. 108, almost 2 hours on. Should I keep going? Give me a 1. Or should I stop? Should I keep going? Because I'm going to be reading this when I go live. Are we going to finish this? I'm trying to finish this up to leading to the point when I go live Sunday with A1. Okay, Copper said keep going. Enoch said keep going. Give me a 1. Straight Smoke said keep going. Skywalker. Okay, y'all, I'm going to keep going. All right. Virginia, which faced the same problem, did not lag far. Hey, Miss Cooper. Behind Maryland. In 1630, the governor and council in court ordered Hugh Davis to be soundly whipped before an assembly of Negroes and others for abusing himself to the dishonor of God and shame of a Christian by defiling his body and lying with a Negro, a guilt which he was to acknowledge next Sabbath day. I'm done. And this is colonial law. In 1662, the colony imposed double fines for fornication with a Negro, but it did not restrict intermarriage until 1691. The words of the preamble give the reasons for this action, saying, and for the prevention of that abominable mixture, okay, and spurious issue which hereafter may increase in the dominion, as well by Negroes, mulattoes, and Indians intermarrying with English or other white women, as by which unlawful accompanying with one another, be it enacted by the authority aforesaid, and it is hereby enacted that for the time to come, whatsoever English or other white man or woman being free shall intermarry with a Negro, mulatto, or Indian man or woman, bond or free, shall within 3 months after such marriage be banished and removed from this dominion forever, and that the justices of each respect county within this dominion make it their peculiar care that this act be put in effectual execution. Like later in the 1700s, the constitutional state just consolidated the Indians together with the goddamn niggas, because you couldn't tell them apart. No, you could no longer decipher. So when they added them together, a hot fucking mess. Oh, let me show you what I mean. For some of you that have not been watching, let me get there. Hold up. After a while, I mean, they just was like, you know what? Because to stop the court shit, they just looped them all in one dupe. This is how you know. And they always did, no matter what they did. Look, they looped their asses all together. Indians and niggas. I'm done. And that was, listen, y'all, because we read it in the 1600s. And by the 1700s, they just counted all the niggas and Indians together. Look, this is 1780s too in Connecticut. Look what they did at the end of this damn document. They just counted them together. Because they was like, fuck it, we don't know no more. Just like it's done today. I'm done. Throw up some fire, y'all. Throw up some damn fire. I mean, they got so frustrated. We're reading in the colonial period time, and they got so damn frustrated because now you can't even fucking tell the difference between who the nigga and who the Indian. So Connecticut was like, fuck it. Put them all together. They was not going to choose. It's all one and the same, and it always have been. That's why he put that shit in, like in Virginia. 1 out of the 20 people became a slaveholder. I love it. I just, you just can't make shit up. You can't no more. Let me see, where am I? Let's get back to it. In 1662, the colony imposed double fines for fornication with a Negro, but did not restrict intermarriage until 1691. The words of the preamble will give the reasons for this action, saying, and for the prevention of the abominable. I already read that. Okay, let's get to here. If any free English woman should have a bastard child by any nigger, mulatto, look at that. They done left out the Indian child. They forgot. That's why you know the nigga the Indian. Okay? They done left out the Indian. Listen, y'all. Forgot, we got to add the Indian so they could think it's 3 different people. If any free English woman should have a bastard child by any Negro or mulatto, she would pay the sum of 15 pounds sterling within 1 month after such bastard child should be born to the church wardens. I'm done. Of the parish where she should be delivered of such child, and in default of such payment, she should be taken into the possession of the said church wardens and disposed of for 5 years. And such bastard child should be bound out as a servant by the church wardens until he or she should attain the age of 30 years old. And in case such Englishwoman that should have such bastard child be a servant, she should be sold by the church wardens after her time is expired, that she ought by law to serve her master for 5 years. And the money she should be sold for divided as before appointed, and the child should serve as aforesaid. Now I'm done. Hold up, y'all. Did he not leave out the Indian? Why he leave out the Indian? He not, bro. He done forgot. American, listen. They done forgot to add the Indian in there. They just left the nigga and the mulatto now. Because when you have a baby by a white woman, it's a mulatto. You have a baby by the Negro, it's mulatto. Because Indian and Negro is one and the same. They left out the damn Indian. Up there, they said they separated the 3. Because you forget. Oh, shit. The nigga is the oh, my God. And now all these thousands of niggas is here in the 1600s. They're already here. The database, they're already here. Oh, these people. It was further provided in 1753. Now, hold up, y'all. In Connecticut, now they had black governors. I'm done. That if any woman servant should have a bastard child by a Negro or mulatto over and above the year's service, for the punishment of free mulatto woman having bastard children by Negroes and other slaves, nor is there any provision made in the said act for the punishment of free Negro woman having bastard children by white men, and for so much as such copulations are as unnatural and inordinate as between white women and Negro men or other slaves. Yo, I'm done. They done left out the damn Indian child. Being enacted that from and after the end of this present session of assembly, that all such free mulatto women having bastard children either within or after the time of their service and their issue shall be subject to the same penalties that white women in their issue are for having mulatto bastards by the act entitled an act related to servants and slaves. And it be further enacted by the authorities aforesaid, by and with the advice and consent aforesaid, that from and after the end of this present session of assembly, that all free Negro women having bastard children by white men and their issue shall be subject to the same penalties that white women are by the act aforesaid for having bastards by Negro men. I'm done. Dorsey, the General Public Statutory Law and Public Law of State of Maryland from 1692 to 1839. I'm due to her master or owner, she should immediately upon the expiration of her time to her then present master or owner pay down the church wardens of the parish wherein such child should be born for the use of the said parish, 15 pounds current money of Virginia, or be sold for 5 years to the use aforesaid. And if a free Christian white woman should have such bastard child by a Negro or mulatto, child, they done left out the Indian. Yes, honey. For every such offense, she would, within 1 month after her delivery of such bastard child, pay to the church. Y'all see this shit? The church is very active for the time being of the parish wherein such child should be born, for the use of the said parish, 15 pounds current money of Virginia, or by then, or by them sold for 5 years to the use aforesaid, and in both the said cases, the church wardens should bind the said child to be a servant until it should be 31 years old. And for further prevention of that abominable mixture and the spurious issue, and y'all talking about we should be Christians. Y'all talking about we should be Christians. It's, you know what? It's still disgusting. I'm good with Buddha. I'm Buddha now, y'all. Which may hereafter increase in this majesty's colony and dominion. See, we're in a colony as well by English and other white men and women intermarrying with Negroes or mulattoes, and by their unlawful coercion with them. It was enacted that whatsoever English or other white man or woman being free should intermarry with a Negro or mulatto man or woman bond free should by judgment of the county court be committed to prison and there remain during the space of 6 months without bail or main prize, and should forfeit and pay 10 pounds current money of Virginia to the use of the parish as aforesaid. It was further enacted that no minister of the Church of England or other minister or person whatsoever within that colony and dominion should thereafter presume to marry a white man with a Negro or mulatto woman, or to marry a white woman with a Negro or mulatto man, upon pain of forfeiting and paying for every such marriage the sum of 10,000 pounds of tobacco. They want their cigarettes. It developed, however, that these laws did not meet all requirements, for there were in subsequent years so many illegitimate children born of such mothers that they became a public charge and had to be bound out. And making more stringent regulation for servants and slaves, North Carolina provided in 1715, now we're going even earlier, that if a white servant woman had a child by a Negro, mulatto, or Indian, see, now they bring it back, they went back earlier. She must serve her master 2 years extra and should pay to the church wardens immediately on the expiration of that time 6 pounds for the use of the parish to be sold 4 years for the use aforesaid. A clergyman found guilty of officiating at such a marriage should be confined 50 pounds. This law, according to John Spencer Bassett, did not succeed in preventing such unions. 2 ministers were indicted within 2 years for performing such a marriage ceremony. In one case, the suit was dropped. In the other case, the clergyman went before the chief justice and confessed, as it seems, of its own accord. In 1727, a white woman was indicted in the general court because she had left her husband and was cohabiting with a Negro slave. So far as general nuisance was concerned, this law of 1715 had no force. By 1741, therefore, the colony endeavored to prevent what the General Assembly called that abominable mixture and spurious issue, which hereafter may increase in this government by white men and women intermarrying with Indians, Negroes and musties and mulattoes. Now they brought back the Indians. It was enacted that if any man or woman being free should intermarry with an Indian, Negro, musty, or mulatto man or woman, or any person of mixed blood to the third generation, bond or free, he should by judgment of the county court forfeit and pay the sum of 50 pounds proclamation money to the use of the parish. It was also provided that if any white servant woman should, during the time of her servitude, be delivered of a child begotten by a Negro, mulatto, or Indian, such servant over and above the time she was by this act to serve her master or owner for such offense should be sold by the church wardens. Now the church got it of the parish for 2 years after the time by indenture or otherwise had expired. So now they bring back the goddamn Indian. I know, I really like how Carter put this shit together. I do. He rocked it. He really rocked it. He knew what he was doing. Damn. Now look at look at the word uses, how it changes again. The miscegenation of the whites and blacks. Now it's whites and blacks. He's writing this. This is why I said Carter's writing this and giving his opinion. The miscegenation of whites and blacks extended so widely that it became a matter of concern to the colonies farther north, where the Negro population was not considerable. Seeking also to prevent this spurious mix issue, Massachusetts enacted in 1705. Okay, listen, that this is in Massachusetts, that a Negro or mulatto man committing fornication with an English woman or a woman of any Christian nation should be sold out of the province. All right. Now they don't even mention in Mass. They don't even mention no goddamn Indian because the Negro was the Indian. Okay. Sold out the province. An English man or man of any other Christian nation committing fornication with a Negro or mulatto woman should be whipped, and the woman sold out of the province. None of Her Majesty's English or Scottish subjects, nor any other Christian nation within that province should contract matrimony with any Negro or mulatto under the penalty imposed on the person joining them in marriage. No master should unreasonably deny marriage to his Negro with one of the same nation, any law, usage, or custom to the contrary notwithstanding. See, at these and are in the colonial times early, there was much of such contact between the white servants and the Negroes in Pennsylvania, where the number of the latter greatly increased during the first quarter of the 19th century. Now, this is the 1800s. Okay. Turner says a white servant was indicted for this offense in Sussex County in 1677. Okay, now it's way back. It done went way down. And a tract of land there bore the name of Mulatto Hall. According to the same writer, Chester County seemed to have a large number of these cases and laid down the principle that such admixture should be prohibited. Referring to a white man, a community complained that he, contrary to his master's consent got with child a certain mulatto woman called Stewart Anna. David Lewis, constable of Harvard, returned a Negro man of his and a white woman for having a bastard child. The Negro said that the Negro said she enticed him and promised him to marry him. She, being examined, confessed the same. The court ordered that she shall receive 21 lashes on her bare back, and the court ordered the Negro never more to meddle with any white woman more upon pain of his life. This is a hot mess. Advertising for Richard Molson in Philadelphia in 1720, his master said he is in company with a white woman named Mary, who is supposed now goes for his wife, and a white man named Garrett Choice and Jane, his wife, which said white people are servants to some neighbors of the said Richard Tigman. In 1722, a woman was punished for abetting a clandestine marriage between a white woman and a Negro. In the Pennsylvania Gazette, June 1st, 1749, appeared the notice of the departure of Isaac Cromwell, a mulatto who ran away with an English servant woman named Anne Green. This shit is a hot mess. Now, see, they don't even talk about the damn Indian. All right? It's just white and black, Negro and white. They're not even talking about the damn Indian. What happened to the Indian, y'all? Hey, D. Allen Warren, what happened to the Indian? Juice, what happened to the Indian? Isness, what happened to the Indian? Is we the General Assembly ain't talking about the Indian. What happened to the Indian? Right, Juice. This shit is horrible. I am so glad I wasn't born in these days. I'm serious. How you gonna tell somebody who the hell they can marry? The assembly, therefore, upon a petition from inhabitants inveighing against this custom, enacted a prohibitory law in 1725. This law provided that no minister, pastor, or magistrate, or other person whatsoever who, according to the laws of that province, usually join people in marriage, should upon any pretense whatever join in marriage any Negro with any white person on the penalty of 100 pounds. And it was further enacted that if any white man or woman should cohabit or dwell with any Negro under pretense of being married, such white man or woman should be put out to service as above directed until they come to the age of 31 years. And if any free Negro man or woman should intermarry with a white man or woman, such Negro should become a slave during life, to be sold by order of the justice of the quarter sessions of the respective county. And if any free Negro man or woman should commit fornication or adultery with any white man or woman, such Negro or Negro should be sold as a servant for 7 years, and the white man or woman should be punished as the law directs in cases of adultery or fornication. This law seemed to have very little effect on the miscegenation of the races in certain parts. In Chester County, according to the records of 1780, mulattoes constituted 1/5 of the Negro population. Yeah, that's because then you're in the North. They didn't give a fuck. You gonna tell the Northern who they gonna do the booty with. Furthermore, that very year, when the state of Pennsylvania had grown sufficiently liberal to provide for gradual emancipation, the law against the mingling of the races was repealed. Mixed marriages thereafter became common as the whites, as the blacks, in the light of the American Revolution, realized liberty in its full meaning. Okay, so now check this out. Thomas Brannigan said in 1805, and I want to highlight this because I thought this was very interesting because it mentions the West Indian Southern states. Here we go. Thomas Brannigan in 1805, there are many, very many blacks who Now this is 1805. Now it done jumped to black. Okay. 1830. It was colored. Oh man, they just it's just horrible what they did to that Indian. Therefore, there are many, very many blacks who begin to feel themselves consequential, will not satisfied unless they get white women for wives, and are likewise exceedingly impertinent to white people in low circumstances. I solemnly swear I have seen more white women married to and deluded through the arts of seduction by Negroes in 1 year in Philadelphia than for 8 years I was visiting West Indies and the southern states. I know a black man who seduced a young white girl who soon after married him and died with a broken heart. On her death, he said, on her death, he said that he would not disgrace himself to have a Negro wife and acted accordingly, for he soon after married a white woman. There are perhaps hundreds of white women thus fascinated by black men in this city, and there are thousands of black children by them at present. uh, my milkshake scheme. uh, oh, Grandpa was saying, I want me a white woman. A reaction against this custom thereafter set in during the first decade of the 19th century, this is 18, when fugitives and the rough were rushing to that state and culminating in an actual campaign against it by 1820. That year, a petition from Greene County said that many Negroes had settled in Pennsylvania and had been able to seduce into marriage the minor children of the white inhabitants. This county therefore acts that these marriages be made an offense against the laws of the state. Such a marriage was the cause of a riot in Columbia in 1834, and in 1838, the members of the Constitutional Convention engaged in a heated discussion of the custom. Petitions were frequently sent to the legislature asking that this admixture be penalized by law, but no such action was ever taken. Relying on public opinion, however, the advocates of racial integrity practically succeeded. Marriages of whites and blacks eventually became so odious that they led to disturbances, as in the case of the riot of 1849, one of the causes of which that a white man was living with a Negro wife. This was almost ineffective, however, in the prevention of race admixture. Clandestine intermingling went on and tended to increase in enormous proportions. The conclusive proof of this is that in 1860, mulattoes constituted 1/3 of the Negro population of Pennsylvania. Hey. In some of the slave states, it later became a capital offense for a Negro man to cohabit with a white woman. Damn. Abney, who tortured his county from 1833 to 1834, however, doubted that such laws were enforced. A man said he was hanged not long ago for this crime at New Orleans. Now, look, we reading all the way down. Hey, y'all, not reading all the way around. Smoke. We been reading all along. They done forgot about the goddamn Indian. Hey, what's up with that, Bucky? They done forgot about the Indian. Smoke. Where the damn Indian go? He's pimping around Negro. Where the damn Indian go? And this was British shit. This wasn't yeah. Where the damn Indian? The damn Indian disappeared. And guess what? The African disappeared too. They mentioned it one damn time. The Indian disappeared and the goddamn African. Out of this damn document. All right. So I've been reading for 2.5 hours. I am going to keep going because I'm excited. Let me just highlight so I know where to start when I come back. I'm going to take a breather to get myself some water because I'm enjoying reading this. I really want to get a lot of this read before Sunday when I go live with A1. So I'm going to take a water break, run downstairs and get some more bottles of water. I've been drinking water like crazy. And I'll be right back. So you guys hold tight because I ain't finished. Okay. Oh, damn. Where's my thing? I'm not finished. Be right back. right, y'all. Hold on. So, do y'all notice that the damn Indian done disappeared? Okay? The Indian disappeared. You can't marry a Negro or mulatto. The damn Indian done disappeared. They forgot because the Negro is the damn Indian. Hey, Rodney, hey, Copper, where the damn Indian go in the report? Yes. But what happens when you lie, you get caught up. Like I said, even today, when they write our history, it damages them more because you can't, it's too late. You can no longer hide the Indian. The more they write, just let them write. You can't, it's too late. It's over. They screwed up even in their writings because, see, we were supposed to continue to be feeble-minded people and not read and research. And these are the things that they do to you in employment. They keep you out. They keep you in the dark. All right. And they abandon you from everything. They're still doing the same shit. But see, karma comes at your ass. Look at these judges getting arrested for hiding immigrants in the fucking jury room. Y'all hear about that today in the news? Karma's going to come after they ass. It's going to come harder. I'm just going to be Buddha. And you just got to watch this shit happen. Because there are just still people alive evil. And they can't help it because they are genetically fixed to do the evil that they do. But you can do evil and lie but for so long before your ass get nipped. So let them get nipped. All this crazy shit of telling somebody who the fuck they can marry, who they could sleep with. This shit is crazy. And you got to pay the fine to the damn church. I'll never be a Christian. Never. I will never be a Christian. Pay the church because you married somebody you fell in love with and it happens to be a white person. I'd have been the first one they hung. Because what if I'd have married a white man back in that day and I had kids and you coming after Sister Bethy? Oh, your church is coming? But see, if it was me back in them days, Pastor ass would have been hanging from a tree. And the people who told me I can't marry the white guy, all they fucking ass would be hanging from a tree. Because I would have hung their ass. I don't do no, and I still don't deal with the Christian church because they suck. Because pastors screwing everybody, it don't matter. I don't want his stanky dick. Lord, you know what? I gotta go recite a whole bunch of Buddha stuff because y'all, I don't want to start getting myself mad. I'll start getting myself mad. Because when I get my Chinese man, oh, you getting served with the magnetic powers. When I marry my Chinese man, you know how they do it. Energy. Chinese crime movie. Oh, let me get it. Oh, okay. Let's get back to where we were. This is a hot mess. Here we go, my loves. I'm just reading along. I'm enjoying myself reading this. And I'm glad everyone else is enjoying it too. It's good to read together. A lot of our people don't like to read. I love to read. Inside, and after I read this, I will go and relax myself and read my Buddha book because I'm reading my Buddha. With the white man and the Negro woman, the situation was different. A sister of President Madison once said to the Reverend George Bourne that a Presbyterian minister in Virginia, we Southern ladies are complimented with the name of wives, but we are only the mistresses of sacrilegious. The masters of the female slaves, however, were not always the only persons of loose morals. Many women of color were also prostituted to the purposes of young white men and overseers. Goodell reports a well authenticated account of a respectable Christian lady at the South who kept a handsome mulatto female for the use of her genteel son as a method of deterring him, as she said, from indiscriminate and vulgar indulgences. Harriet Martineau discovered a young white man who, on visiting a Southern lady, became insanely enamored of her intelligent quadroon maid. He sought to purchase her, but the owner refused to sell the slave because of her unusual worth. The young white man persisted in trying to effect his purchase and finally informed her owner that he could not live without this attractive slave. Thereupon, the white lady sold the woman of color to satisfy the lust of her friend. I'm done. The accomplishment of this task of preventing the increase of free Negroes, that was what they was doing. They was preventing the increase of the free Negroes because they were increasing, because it was the status of the woman. So every time a white woman had a baby, that baby was free. In the first place, so many persons of color had risen to positions of usefulness among progressive people and had formed connections with them that drastic action was both inexpedient and undesirable. Exceptions to the hard and fast rules of caste were often made to relieve the people of color. The miscegenation of the races in the South, and especially in large cities like Charleston and New Orleans, moreover, had gone to the extent that from these centers eventually went, as they do now, a large number of quadroons and octoroons who elsewhere cross over to the other race. Now we're on number 2. So I don't know, should I we're on Roman numeral 2, preventing the increase of the free Negroes. Should I can give me a 1 if I should read a little longer? Keep going, reading a little longer, because we're on page 24 now. I wonder how far down more we get to go. I'm just looking to see how far down more we get to go. Jesus, free the Negro. Free Negro. Oh, so we don't got that much for it's only 4 pages. We're getting constant. Now, in reading the rest of this document, y'all, the goddamn Indian disappeared. I'm just seeing how far down we get to heads. Oh, y'all want me to continue reading? Okay, I will. I'm just trying to see how far down. Yep. It's down to page 30 is when it starts. Oh, no. And then the third one being the free Negro before the law. The goddamn Indian done disappeared. Well, I'll be damned. Free heads of the this before the law. This is free. Yeah, free Negro before the law. It's going to be very interesting to read. Oh yeah, I'm just trying to see how much more reading I have to do before we get to all the census names. Oh, here we go. It's up to page. Okay, so we got a 20 something more pages to read before we get to. Yeah, we got quite a few pages to read. So I'll be reading this until we get to the part that we did the second half of this already. Because he tells you. Yeah, this will be the second half. So it's like a page 60. This is where we started yesterday, but I'm going to go back and continue reading because it's an explanation of the tables. And he's telling you here that before we even read these tables, these were not all of the free Negro families in this country in 1830. These were not all the free ones. There's more. That's because they only was able to get like 23 states to, speak. Like, all right. The other niggas was like, hell no. Get the hell away from my door. You know how we do when the Jehovah's Witnesses come to the door. Same thing with the census taker. They was not cooperating. But that was a massive amount. Right, y'all? And he says it. These were not all the free Negroes, families in this country in 1830, but all of those officially reported as living apart from the whites. Many free Negroes lived in the homes of their employers and did indentured servants or slaves. Now, when we get down to it, start getting down to it, this is the part where I wanted to show you. But I'm going to go back and read. Like David Chambers, for example. David Chambers, okay, this is like a severely massive amount of niggas here. And it says David Chambers, he's a male, and he's between the ages of 55 and 100 years old, okay? And there was 12 people or 13 people living under him. Heads of household, 12 or 13. And the ages range it from 55 to 100. 12. So this list is so huge because this list only lists the head of the household. And then it tells you a total of people that lived in the house. So this list is so, y'all know I went through this list. And it tells you each one. I mean, they was having 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. Oh, I mean, this list is massive. As a matter of fact, I think I am going to stop here because it is a lot. Yeah, I read for 2 hours straight. And I'll come and read for 2 hours tomorrow. And I know that I start at page 24. Let me do 24. I know I start right here at 24. So I'm going to leave it right here. Okay, I'll read just this because then we'll start on the other Roman numeral. With the white man and the Negro woman, the situation was different. A sister of President Madison once said that the Reverend George Bourne, then a Presbyterian minister in Virginia, we Southern ladies are complimented with I already read that. The accomplishment of this task of preventing the increase of free Negroes, therefore, was not easy. In the first place, so many persons of color had risen to positions of usefulness among progressive people and had formed connections with them, that drastic action was both inexpedient and undesirable. The exceptions to the hard and fast rules of caste were often made to relieve the people of color. The miscegenation of the races in the South, and especially in large cities like Charleston and New Orleans, moreover, had gone to the extent that from these centers eventually went as they do now. A large number of quadroons and octoroons who elsewhere cross over the other race. So tomorrow when I go live, which is Saturday, I'll start with Roman numeral 2. So I could put this here to remind me where I'm gonna start. I'll start there tomorrow. I'll open the panel now if anybody has questions in reference to this document or want to make comments about what we read so far. It'd be great to hear from you. I put the link in the chat. I would love for you to come up and, whoever's been listening along with the readings. It's just funny. The Indian done disappeared now. And I would really like to hear from you. So the chat is, the link is in the chat. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. I don't want to talk about nothing else and change the topic. So come on up. It's open. Let's talk about it. It's a hot mess. And if I'm not here, just sit tight. I'll let you up. What's up, bro? Why I can't hear you? Got your mic muted.
I'm sorry about that. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on? Hey,
Nothing
Curious.
much. I was just I loved everything, every bit of it. This was great. This was great.
A hot mess. The damn Indian
Shout
done
out
disappeared, straight smoke.
Shout out to the church for being the first government.
The Christian church.
Yeah. You can't have them bastard kids. What are you doing?
Yeah, how you gonna be like that towards a people and you're a Christian church, holy and sanctified, and the Lord will lay you down your burdens. And you are saved. They
I
saved,
mean,
filled with the Holy Ghost, and baptized in the name of Jesus. And all of them are saved.
mm-hmm.
But they'll give you lashes and whippings on your back and everything if you marry a Negro, okay? And a white woman marry a Negro, or a white woman marry a Negro. Yeah, you can't do it.
Oh, on top of that, you got to pay them pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay that money too. You're gonna get some lashes, and you got to pay. How about that?
A Christian church,
Yep.
and you going to heaven, all of y'all, because you're saved.
Mm-hmm.
The law.
That is hard.
I stick with
That's
Buddha.
hard.
That's a hot
I'm just
mess.
going. That's hard.
Terrible.
That's. I mean, what type of individual are you really serving? What are you doing?
Who's your God
Who
that
is
told
your
you to
God?
whip
Because
their
that is
back?
cold blooded.
Yes.
That's cold blooded.
And the damn
But I
Indian
jumped
done
up here.
disappeared. Straight
Oh
smoke.
well,
How the
you
Indian
already know.
disappear?
Well,
How the Indian disappear?
easy. It's very simple. It went from we're just gonna just tell you that you are not even a part of this at all. You're not nothing. It's something that caught me in the earlier listening to you earlier. It said except for Indians not taxed and 3/5 person.
Hold on.
That was the key indicator for me. They already knew it's Indians not taxed, and then you people that's 3/5 of the person. Man, that's hard. How you come from
Right.
somewhere else and then tell somebody they ain't a person?
Nobody can't touch. Like right, curious. Nobody can't touch the white woman or the Negro woman. Only pastor could come and lay his hands on her boobies in the
Oh my
name of
God.
Jesus. In the name of Jesus, he could rub her breasts, twitch her
Miss
nipples. Only pastor
Parker,
could do that.
Miss Parker. God knows what I want. That's
Only
terrible.
pastor
That's
could come by and bless him and
Now I
lay
need
his
you to get down
hands.
on your knees and pray. Terrible. This is
Yeah.
terrible.
And while you're down
Oh,
there on your knees, I'm just gonna pull my little zipper down.
oh my God. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we
Oh,
go.
I'm
This
gonna
is
loosen my
terrible.
belt, Lucibel. I'm gonna loosen my belt, and I want you to do what you do best in the name of
'Cause
Jesus.
in the name of Jesus.
Give me power,
Glory,
Lucy.
hallelujah.
Oh, glory. That's why he be saying glory, hallelujah, and stuff. Glory, hallelujah, because he get Lucy down there going, yes, sir.
God.
That's why he saying glory.
Glory. Oh my God.
His
I
hands up in
can't
the
get
air.
past you. I can't get past it. He gonna lay them hands on you. He gonna lay them hands on you. Oh my Lord. Ah, and this was a very, very enlightening show, as always, like you do. I really appreciate you taking the time out to even go over this stuff like you do.
I'm going to keep reading it because our people need to hear this and they need to know this, what they did to us. And, you know, back in the 1830, what he was speaking about during 1830, they quickly made a damn census, got all the niggas on it, right? The ones that remained. And all of a sudden, they are removed from the South. That's Indian removal. They're forced. And then he tell you, in the North, it was niggas there. But then he tells you, oh, these ain't all the Negroes in this country. That's why he lists only the states that cooperated. And you got 26 more states.
How you doing, Copper Engine?
Hey,
How you
Copper
doing?
Engine.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm loving the bill. How y'all doing?
I'm doing
Oh,
good,
you.
beautiful.
I'm doing good. The whole while you were reading, I was sitting here going, how can one son of a bitch come from another country
Mm, mm,
and tell somebody else not only who you are, but who the hell it is you can love?
Exactly.
And if you don't follow my rule, I'm going to penalize you, put you in jail, and do all this other. How can somebody come they ass from another somewhere and tell somebody that you don't know who do I, that just behooves me. How the gall of some people.
mm.
See, I'd have been mischievous and doing some evil shit. I'd have
You
said, let's
know?
pretend. I'd have told the wife, hey, let's pretend we a husband and wife. Let's act like we husband and wife when these people walk by. I'd be squeezing his butt, saying, hi, coochie, coochie, honey. We play with
You
Oh,
know what? You know what? You know what? You know
I
what?
said, turn around so I can smack your white ass on the back, right? And say, ooh, honey, let me get it, baby. Ooh, honey. They'd have been like, get that Negro woman out of here.
You know what? You know what?
terrible.
I already know. I already know that if I'm pretty sure I was reborn in that time, but I can pretty much say with my mindset, I was one of the first mother suckers they got rid of. I know my
They,
mouth. I know my mindset, and I know my mouth.
they'd have
I
put
know.
me in the dungeon because I'd have been horrible.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
flirting with all the white men just because they told me I can, you
Uh-huh.
can't tell me not to do something that I don't want to. If I don't want to do it, try to make me do. I'm the opposite.
My
Every white
mindset.
man that walked by, I would squeeze their butt and say, "Hey, coochie, coochie." They
I
be like,
would be,
they
I would have been, I know me, I would been plotting, I would be plotting my ass off how to get even. I know
every time
me.
a white man walk by, I'd be doing the booty dance, and they be.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sister Becky.
It'd have been a
Where do
little
we
bit
go?
more than
Where do
dosey
we
do
go?
and swing your partner.
Uh-huh.
Here
Uh-huh.
we go.
Yeah. 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 I would not have lasted very long. I already know. I already
Could
know my
I have to.
constitution.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say my constitution. I already know. But go ahead.
I'd
Because
have
I'm
probably
I'm
died
still
and came back. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, honey.
I'm just floored over the fact that they collected everybody's information and then disseminated in the process of saying you're not worthy enough.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You're not worthy enough. You're in our eyes, you are beneath us.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a hard pill to swallow. You
Hmm.
know, that to me, um, I'm gonna find a way to shoot you with an arrow in
Hmm.
some kind of shape, form, or fashion. I don't understand how. I mean, the duping process of this is just unheard of.
Unheard of.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Unheard of.
This
Yeah, I
is
know
unheard of. I
Mm.
mean, good Lord.
we're the same people back then that we are today. So I know the old heavens probably said, "Bring her crazy ass back."
Mhm. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the frustration, the anger, the pain? When I sit and I do, I scratch that. When I started learning about the colonization alongside of doing my genealogy, it just is such an eye-opening thing to see that, and then you get an understanding of what our ancestors went through, the
Yeah,
bullshit that they had to
it
endure.
wasn't meant for me to be born. I'm telling you. I
Yeah.
guess we're
Ain't
born
no
in our
way.
right time so we could tolerate on what we could tolerate. Because right now I can't tolerate shit. So I know back then they would have killed me like 8 times, and I would just kept coming back alive, kept coming back
Mhm, mhm,
alive.
mhm. Like here come that motherfucker again. She done woke up with it. God damn, here she come again.
Yep, they would have created a law just because I ain't go to church.
Mhm,
Now, see,
mhm.
that's interesting right there. That's interesting right there. So, where are the people? Well, I can't even say it like that because there were some that did not assimilate to this faith. So, did those get eradicated? I mean, something is just not adding up with me with this
I know,
timeline.
huh? There's some missing pieces in this shit.
Yes,
Well,
it is. It's a lot.
I know back during them times, like, they would have the signs convert or die because obviously people were practicing something else. And I just can't believe what I find interesting is that they brought Christianity here, okay, and they left their own countries because of persecution of what they wanted, their religious belief. But then get over here and tell you to convert and die. I'm like, what the
Mhm,
fuck?
mhm.
You left your country because of religious freedom, and then you come over here and impose it on somebody.
You would
And do
think
the
they
same
would
damn
have,
thing.
and you would think they would have learned from that. I believe the average human being would not want to put other people through the same stuff they just ran from because they understood. You would think they would have an understanding of prosecution and bestowing on other people the shit. You would just think that, huh?
Yeah, this is why I really can't wait till A1 comes on because they're jumping way back in the colonial times. They went back in like the 1600s when the British was ruling, and A1 will be able to substantiate that these colonial people were black men, Negro men. He's going to be able to substantiate it. Is that really you, Bucky?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, good. He'll be able to substantiate it. But what he's saying is that a mixture of them came. They blacks and white. So that's why I was said black Europeans that came from Europe. They brought some here with them. So he'll be able to explain that more because I'm just like confused because they were saying it was these black Europeans running these colonial states. So that's why A1's coming on Sunday because I don't do the ancient history. He's very good at that. And Bat was telling me some very interesting things on Smoke's channel yesterday. How we uh, uh, um ruled over the world because we went out and taught in other countries civilization. Because basically he was saying everywhere else other than where we are, they lived a primitive lifestyle like hunter gatherers. That's how the world was everywhere else except here. And he's saying we
Mm.
sent people out and those countries and taught colonization. So when you look in China, when you look in Africa and all these other countries, they have like kind of like a democracy system, even though they're um uh, um even though that some of the other countries are communist countries. You look at China, they have structures and buildings like over here in all these countries, even in Africa, like in South Africa, the high right building, the cement highways. We left here and went over there and taught colonization. So that's going to be very interesting to hear Sunday.
Sister
But
Nikki,
hi, Bucky.
how you doing? Long time.
I
I'm
know.
I'm gonna say something. And Copper Indian mentioned something about them having like consideration, basically. Like, why would you flee from something and then to implement that where you going? What if that was the plan?
The plan from who? Them or us?
Maybe they wasn't fleeing from nothing. Maybe they were just leaving to take it somewhere else.
That
Hmm.
could be the case too.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
could be
Well,
the case too.
from what if correct me if I'm wrong, but what I what I what I was what I had read and what I was taught through all this time was that these people were in jail. That Great Britain had released their prisoners from jail. That's who came here.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm not gonna say I'm just gonna totally believe that, but that's what I was always referenced to as when I was from growing up.
Yeah.
That
Well,
those people came out of jail.
that shit crazy, man.
So
It's like
if
the more
that's
I learn, the more upset I get, man. I'm about ready to
yeah,
start some shit. I
me
want to
too.
end. Nah, for real, man. I try to be peaceful with all this and just, cause I'm grown. We all mature. We know how to deal with shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting a little upset, man, especially with the mixed information. Like I go from one channel to another, and this person, like they will say the same thing, and then they'll end up saying something different. So sometimes I'm confused. I don't know what to really go with, right? So what I tend to do is I do my own research, but when I do my own research, I I do it amongst my family tree. So I try to
Hmm.
find my people within that. And what I've
Mm-hmm.
learned that, especially with the whole mulatto thing that you mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah.
told that the mulatto didn't necessarily mean us and them. It could have just been a mixture of us amongst us, just on different grounds,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, for
That's
example,
very true too.
The Catawba mixed with the Waxhaws, that would
Mm-hmm.
be considered a mulatto.
Mm-hmm.
Mulatto meant mixed. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily meant, you feel me, pale and the brown. So, when I hear people say something about the nigga was the Indian, and you know what I mean, and all of that, then they'll say mulatto as if this is some
Mm-hmm.
kind of third party or something like. But no, the
Right.
mulatto would still be the Indian. It would still be the nigga because
Correct.
you know what I'm saying. It could be mixed with different chieftains or different tribes.
Correct.
But yeah, man, shout
Correct.
out to the I'm on this Piedmont shit, man. I'm excuse my language. I just got out of work. Uh, I'm yeah, I'm dealing with some errands right now that I don't want to
That's
be
just
bothered
great
with. I'm
hate,
tired.
grandson, because well, our mulatto babies, they're angry because even if you create the mulatto baby, the dominant blood overpowers it. You are that blood. You
Hmm.
no longer look like the white person, the dominant, the dominant, the god blood. I'm gonna put it that way.
Yeah.
Well,
Dominant gene.
I just found my phone.
Dominant gene.
You remember we went through my tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
I just found those folk. Now, mind you, I understand now, and it's all good. My great grandfather was mixed. Now,
Yeah. We
I
all
don't
got
know
that
the
on our tree. A
bloodline of
lot of
those
us
people,
do.
right? I don't know the bloodline of those people.
Mm-hmm.
But I mind you, the church that I grew up on when I was a kid, the burial ground, the burial sites out there, they got the name, everything is clear still. Um, the names, a lot of those people are not blood, they're adopted.
Yeah.
They worked. Mind you, my family were agricultural people. They grew soybeans, corn, and watermelon.
Indian stuff.
So they came to work. Now, a few of them married into the family for sake of inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
But then the one end up messing around and had my great grandfather. I understand that part. But it's a lot of them with these other names that I'm just like, wait a minute, y'all not a part of that tree.
Hmm.
So how you know what I mean? It's like the identity theft. and
Mhm.
this and
Yeah.
which is what we're speaking of. And I'm telling my cousin because she was wanting to claim these people, and I'm just like, no, we're not doing that. Y'all always want to invite somebody to the damn cookout and shit, man. We not doing that. We're not doing that. Like,
No.
I get it. I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't raised to be hateful. I wasn't
Right.
raised to be racist. I wasn't raised like that. That
But
attitude with me didn't come about until I started in the work field. When I started, you know, with this employment, that's when I started to become aware of,
Yeah.
the discrepancies, man. And it's like,
Yeah.
hold on, like, why? What? It didn't make sense to me, but the older I got and the more I started to dig into this history, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's why. Because they want what
Mhm.
we have. It ain't
mhm.
got nothing to necessarily do with our complexion. It got
Yeah.
everything to do with us being the original people on this land.
Mhm.
And
And I
see,
and I
we're
think
20. We're 20. Me and you are 20. Copper Engine is swell there. She got that sexual chocolate come in many shades. And I
mhm.
claim all my bloodline on my tree. Because I
Damn
got
right.
mulattoes all through my families. And yes, they're Negro and what you call today, Negro, Indian, whatever, however you want to do it. Negro, Indian, and white, however. It through my family, and that's my bloodline, and I love my family, so I don't give a
Mhm.
damn.
Yeah, my
And you,
daddy's
if
side
they
was on
keep
with the
messing around,
Catawba.
I'm gonna go and squeeze white man's butt. I'm gonna put
Oh
on the ski
Lord.
mask, and I'm gonna be on the news. There is a
So
lady going around squeezing white men's butts. I'll be the butt sniper. Just
now
squeeze their
look,
butts when I want.
now for real though, not for real, Sister Betty. Like, so on my father's side, when I
He
traced the
ain't right,
Catawba
y'all.
Indian,
He ain't right.
the
Something wrong with
Catawba bloodline was that of the brown skin, and then my great grandmother, who was Cherokee, she
Mm-hmm.
married the what you would call the mulatto,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how
That's
that came
all
about.
through
You know what I'm
our
saying?
That
families.
right there.
All through our families. You look like my family.
We
You
all
literally
family,
look like you.
and you got
You
to think
literally
though.
look like
Look,
you could be my grandmother's son because my
we
uncles
talked
look
about
like you.
South Carolina, right?
Yep. Oh, he must be hitting a road. He drive trucks. Most of them
Sister
Southern
Betty, if
boys.
I could.
Oh, go ahead. You got it.
So that's a key indicator right there. Um, the marriages. Okay. That was a key indicator to me. That lets me know that majority of these people went to magistrates. You know, they got married through the church. So everybody, I tried to explain this to a lot of people. There were no hospitals back in these times. Okay.
Yeah,
So a
Can y'all
lot
hear
of
me
people
right.
now?
had
Oh, now we can hear you.
My bad. Hey, Smoke, what up, man? I ain't gonna cut your wisdom, family. I'm in my personal vehicle, actually.
Oh, you're
I
not
just
driving your truck.
I'm about I just pulled past the crib. I just cut in the Wi-Fi, so it
Hmm.
switched over and switched back over. But what I was saying was, bookmark Smoke. Damn, I don't know, missed my thought.
You were talking about South Carolina before you cut off.
Yeah, right here. You know, I'm right here at the state line.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, be in
Mhm.
a bad area. He must be in a bad area. Go ahead, straight smoke till he come back.
Well, it
Yeah.
was it was what I was what I was alluding to was that it was a lot of home births. Like doctors used to come to the house,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
you know, and deliver the baby. Or sometimes, like in my family, we have a stringent of midwives. A lot of men like me, I know how to deliver a baby.
Yeah. Willie was born
My,
in a
my-
house in South Carolina. He was born in a house, and that was in the 70s.
I was born
that's
in
what
the
I'm
house.
saying,
I was also born in the house.
right? And I don't want to put so much onto this corporation saying that, oh yeah, you went this route, you went this route, you went this route. No, everybody didn't do that. That's all I was saying.
Mhm. Hello? Y'all there?
Of course, of course, of
Sister
course.
Bethany? Sister
Oh, she's
Bethany?
there.
Oh.
She's there. 9 times out of 10, she's probably getting her a quick little water or something like that.
Oh
You
no,
know.
I'm right here. I went to reach over to push my fan over.
Right.
Oh. Is it hot there?
It was warm, but upstairs it's always warmer than downstairs. I'm upstairs because I moved my office from downstairs to upstairs, so I could close
Mm.
my door and
Mm.
nobody can't bother me if I lock it.
Oh, so you can get away.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hi, Adrian. But
Mhm.
I'm sorry I missed the end of it. But yeah, it was marriage was that movie that they made with them fake Indians. Um, I was just like laughing because when they got ready to show the actual business, they show what was it, Oklahoma? They show Oklahoma. They jumped the movie from where they were, I guess in Arizona or somewhere or wherever they was in the West. And then when I got ready to show the Indian businesses, they showed Oklahoma. I'm like, wait a minute. They really tried to hide our history.
Is that the one where they were killing the Indians or this person?
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
what was the name of that?
I forgot. Chief Holiday was so upset when he saw that, but he was angry
Oh,
about
I
how
see.
they agreed, literally came here with a plan and agreed to marry the Indian to get the land. Flower Moon, yeah. That was the name of the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
And that was
You
just horrible.
you know the one that really really hurt me because I have a lot of relatives that came out of Natchez, Mississippi. When I
Mhm.
started learning about the Devil's Punch Bowl, oh
Yes.
my soul, that hurt. Oh my God. Mm-mm-mm. That
Hmm.
one right there brought tears to my eyes when I
Yep.
heard about how they did those people, our ancestors. I was like, you some dirty, dirty motherfuckers. Dirty
The
motherfuckers.
same plan they taught here, they did the same shit in China.
Mm.
Same exact shit in China. You watch the movies, they show you they had the slaves and they lived. They were hunter gatherers. The same shit in China and everywhere where it's colonized. And that's just very interesting what Bab said yesterday. It just like made me think. I'm like, well, I'll be damned, because the whole world was hunter gatherer shit, and over here we already had structures up and stuff. So we went out and taught them how to do what we have over here.
Mm.
And it makes sense because how are you going to come here in the 1600s and we already had sophisticated structures up when they got here? And it was the niggas here. And they
Mhm.
didn't come with no fucking tools
Mm-mm.
to get up high in the air to make these structures that we made. You're talking people coming out of prison. So they came directly out of prison and began building structures.
Mhm.
Get the fuck out of here.
Mhm.
We already built that and they're hiding it. We
Mhm.
were not hunter gatherers here. Why the fuck would we build big 3-story buildings, right? Structures, buildings, right? And then choose to live in a fucking TP tent as cold as it is in here in the north. That don't make no sense.
Tell me. Talk to
It's
me now.
cold as hell in Connecticut.
Talk to me. Mhm.
So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, this smoke. I'm like, why the hell would we? That's how I know something's wrong. And
Mhm.
that's why I can't wait to A1 come on Sunday, because then we're gonna be able to put the pieces together. These are people that came out of prison. They didn't have no fucking building tools when they came over here. They didn't bring building tools. They came out of chains and they was funky when they got here.
Funky, funky,
So
funky cold
it
Medina.
just don't make no sense to
Mm-mm.
build buildings over here and but choose, oh, we're gonna build this 3-story, 4-story building, but we're gonna choose to live in a fucking tent. Get out of here. Not in Connecticut. Your ass ain't living in a tent in Connecticut. It
Mm-mm.
gets cold as hell. Even in my
Texas.
house, when we got the heat turned up, it's cold.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any state you go to, it's cold. It's freezing cold. Texas, anywhere, Georgia. There's no way. I've lived in Texas. I've lived in Georgia. There's no
Correct.
there's no way in the hell. I've been through Denver, Colorado, and Mississippi. Yeah, get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
It don't make no sense. Just like with this was in 1750. Only 45 years away from 1600s. This building was here. If
Mhm.
we were fucking hunting gatherers in 1600, why would we build something like this? All right, and then choose to live in a tent outside. This structure is still up, and this was here
Mhm.
before the Pilgrims came, or before the 1619 project. This building is up, and it was niggas here. That's who built it.
Yep.
When them people came from in 1619, they came on a Mayflower and they ain't come with no damn building tools. That
Nope.
damn wooden ship would have sunk.
Sunk straight to the bottom of the ocean.
So they this is why I say that they really fucked up teaching our history. We built this, we was here. And all of a sudden you're gonna say, oh, 1755, there were black governors. Damn, them was fucking Indians. We already had a system here.
It's almost like they got together, like a bunch of the colonizers back then got together and said, well, we're going to go to this country and we're going to implement the same plan. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to implement the same plan. With because it's so similar.
And one was saying we already had a similar system, which is what it was when we were in power. But I'm like, when you're
Hey,
saying
Sister Fit,
16,
can you
hey,
see? Can you see the chat?
oh yeah, I can.
Engine Radio said they got word.
They got word. Exactly. That's why I say everyone who's running here, running their own, because the descendants of those colonies are running here today after destroying those lands to come here. Where Indian Red said what? I can't hear you, grandson.
Salute.
Hey, Smoke. He's in a bad area driving.
I'm
Oh, there
it's
you
crazy.
go.
It's aggravating. They said they got word that things were great here. Them
Yeah,
fleeing or running from something was their excuse, or so what they wrote. You know what I mean?
yes.
They had intentions. They had a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So man, this shit crazy.
It is. Hey, Smoke. It is, and
Oh
grandson.
yeah, it wasn't. So when I went to Andrew Jackson State Park. Now, mind you, I grew up in this area. I'm from Monroe, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
This whole area is like the Waxhaws, the Catawbas. This is like the
He
Mm-hmm.
back
Camden
out again.
precinct. I'm
What's
gonna have
going
to
on,
get
Smoke
off. I
Signal?
can't even keep a damn conversation.
Yeah,
We
no, you're
still hear
cutting
you. We
off.
still
That's
hear
why
you.
you're going in and out.
You
Can you
still
hear us?
clear right now, though.
So, when I went to Andrew Jackson State Park, inside the museum was that his family came over here for a better life.
See?
So when we read these stories and we see that they was talking about we were savages and all this shit, why would you come over here where some savages at for a better life?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Wouldn't you be scared of some savages
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
if you that damn civilized?
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly.
Exactly.
Mhm. I
That's
keep
why I
my ass.
said
Well,
I keep my black ass or white ass or whatever color their asses was. I keep myself where I was.
see,
Or
you're
turn
a
my
well,
ass
reader.
or turn my ass around and go back to where I came from when I realized that how uncivilized they were, especially if they were so-called that uncivilized and they was doing all they were doing. I mean, seemed to me, and logically, I would turn my ass around and go back to civilization.
Facts.
Well,
We all
Unless they had what you wanted and or needed, and you knew it, and you was there to take it.
Okay, so
facts.
hence the part of they're coming over here for a better life. So y'all heard it was great over here.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
You dig what
Facts.
I'm saying? So why you talking about for a better life? Y'all heard things were great, but then you changed the like, man,
That's what they do. That's what happens. What they did with our
Frustrating, isn't
history
it?
is
I
part
can't
of
even
it.
say what I want to say. Like I'm so wrapped up in
No,
what
we getting it.
Becky is talking
We
about,
get it.
and then
No, you're doing
what I just
good.
found out last night. The things
You
I
doing
found out
good.
Wednesday, like all this stuff, right? Mind you, I'm new to this. I've been outside, like I've been in the streets. I ain't never really found time to research my people like that. You know what I'm saying? I just grew up with the nature of my grandmother, my uncles, my aunties. But
As was
to
all of
to
us.
see all of this now, and then to hear all this like the Mississippi, oh man, these
You're
folk was
becoming
these
we're
folk had a
all
mission.
right. We're all
Mm-hmm.
becoming Buddhas at this point
It
about our
wasn't.
history.
Yeah.
And Buddha means awakened one, someone who has awakened from the sleep of ignorance and sees things as they really are. That's when
Mm-hmm.
you know you a Buddha, because now you're the awakened one. We're
Mm-hmm.
not
Your
sleep.
eyes are
We're not
open.
sleep anymore.
You was.
Every
You got
time,
it.
every placard, every post, everything I've seen from this state park. Mind you, we got Francis J. Beatty, we got Andrew Jackson State Park. You got these other placards and these posts that's put up around. Mind you, I'm in Indian Land, South Carolina. This was and still is the Catawba region, the Camden precinct, the
Mm-hmm.
Waxhaw. Mind you, my family was born in Beaufort, South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Beaufort, South Carolina. Now
Yep.
it's like it's not even really named. It's just like Northern Lancaster. Um, Parts of
But it was
Waxhaw is now
Buford back in
named.
the day.
Yeah, parts of
Yeah, my
Waxhaw is now
family
named
lived there.
Monroe, North Carolina.
My
But like,
family lived in Beaufort. That's
yeah.
where they lived before they came to Connecticut. They moved in because started off in York. They were way up in York, and they worked their way down to McCormick County in Beaufort, and then left in
So there's two Beauforts.
1929.
There's two
No, it's
Beauforts.
one.
I'm
You
finna
talking
I'm
about?
finna tell you. There's Buford,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's
BEA.
Beaufort.
That's the one my family was at. They when
Yeah,
they
it's
left
two.
York,
Yeah.
South Carolina, and went to Beaufort, and then left was burnt out in 1929. They were forced and came to Connecticut. We've been here since.
Mm.
But hey, Smoke, I know you've been waiting. Hey, Smokey.
Salute, salute. Shout out to the channel, and to the chat.
What's up,
Power to
Smoke?
the motherfucking people.
To the
Okay,
Oh,
motherfucker.
so
yeah.
before y'all transport everybody to the 33rd chamber of the Shaolin Temple with this Buddhist stuff, right? Let me ask you, let me ask you a question. Right? You was reading Carter G. Woodson, something about the slave owners, right? Negro
Uh-huh.
slave owners.
Yes.
Does it ever mention who these Negroes had as slaves?
No, not in his actual report. It doesn't. It just listed all the heads of the household, and then in parentheses it gave the number of people that lived in the house and their ages ranging from what was it 0 to 100, something like that.
You might as well say, yeah, 0 to 100.
So if we use that,
Uh-oh. Hot mic, hot
yeah,
mic.
hold on.
Oh damn.
That smoke.
It's going down. It kept going down.
Them niggas is literally standing right next to each other. Yeah, they
Are you
standing right
kidding?
next to each other.
Are you
That's all
serious?
Yes,
right.
it's hollering and shit. Country
Family.
mother, yeah,
Wow.
country mother. Yeah,
The country shit, man.
nigga hollering like he down the street or some shit. Nigga,
Yeah,
chill.
way down the street.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Okay,
Jeez.
so by that, I'm just gonna use a little logic here. You got all these head of households, aka slave masters, that would either insinuate that the people under them in the household would be considered their slaves, right? Since they weren't being named, and that's how the story goes. The slaves don't get to be named in the official reports.
Yeah.
So these are head of households, aka slave owners. I'm saying by logic that would make the other people in the household subject to the head, which would in turn make those people the slaves. Now I'm not saying they was actually slaves, but I think that's just how they is correlating this slave owner scenario. I mean, it could be a little more nuanced than that, but I'm leaving it at that. Y'all can meditate on that however y'all want to. I'm out. I got to go beat up YK. He causing a lot of trouble in the Aboriginal community. Peace.
Well, that was the people that was in the house was their kids. It was their family, wife, kids, and all of that. That is who was in the house. And that's a fact. Those were their families. So he was the master of the house. That's what it was called back then.
Sister Bethy, if I could,
hmm
um, I'm starting to look at how they throw this word slave around, right?
hmm
And it's
Man, I'm
becoming
hey. Oh
all
my
right.
god. Talk, bro. My bad. I thought I was muted. I'm listening.
I'm looking at how they're throwing this word slave around because what they were doing is they was coming to the person that overallly had the property, correct? So if they're looking at the person that had the property, they're saying, so how many people are actually working here, right?
But they on the records as the children, correct?
What, but what I'm
Correct.
saying is that they're using the word slave and not someone that is employed.
Well, they didn't use that word.
That's that. I got you, bro. You got it.
Yeah, that's what Sister Betty was saying. So when she was showing who the slave masters were and who the children were the ones who was working on the land. They were the slaves, but they wasn't
What I'm
this like that. What so when we hear the word slave, bro, we thinking like in a derogative term.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's
bet.
not
My
what I'm
bad.
saying. What I'm saying is that they're using that term because that's an implied term that they want to use. These were actual workers on our land. They was not slaves. Everybody wasn't. Hey man, everybody wasn't no slave, bruh.
But that's why I say quote unquote. You feel me? So the
You
people
got
that they was calling the slaves wasn't really like I said, you thinking derogative. So you take the derogatory term out of that, like the derogatory connotation out of the word slave, then you have the people that was actually working on the land. Those were the children. Am I saying this right? Cause I'm kind of
So can I ask you a question? So are you under the belief that during that system of time that they had to use that term for, say, to get along with the standard of the time, or they put them under that term because they hid them there? Because that was something else I came across, is that they had someone mentioned that they had to hide them under the term of slavery to keep other people from trying to
to
purchase.
protect them.
Yeah.
So the chart that Sister Betty showed, where it showed the masters, then the masters were the parents, and then it showed the slaves. The slaves were the children. That's
Hmm.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, 'cause I came across that on my search of one of my
That's based
ancestors.
right. That's based off the chart where it showed the parents and the children. The parents were titled slaves. I mean, masters, and then the
Mhm.
children was yeah,
Here it is.
man. So
They
pull
didn't
it
give
up.
the name. So for instance, let's see, Richard Gibbs, right? The ages in that household was from 10 to 24, and it was two people. This person ages in the house 24 to 36. It was five people in this house. Down here, over here, Prince Powell, right? Down here, you got Prince Powell. The ages range in this household was 36 to 55, and there was 10 people in that house. So you know it was a big ass farm, right?
Right.
These are the
Yeah, we
people
talking
who,
acres. It was like no
right.
neighbors.
And and the funny shit is the people in the house were counted as 3/5, because had they counted, for representation in Congress, they 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 would always win in any congressional races. If they was like running for office, that's why they dominated down south, because it was so many niggas. And they, so for proportion and representation in Congress, it's by how many people, and also for enumeration purposes, enumerating how much money will be distributed to a particular state. So instead of counting them as whole, they counted them as 3/5. Now you get it.
Yeah, I
I
get
hope
it.
that I mean some folks.
That's man. We could put it in terms of the having the kids cut the grass,
Yeah,
pick the fruit,
right.
pick the corn. Go grab
Yep.
me some watermelon.
Yep. Shuck the corn.
You had to tend to the yard. You had to maintain the property.
Yep. And
Say that
other
last part again.
maintain the property.
We had to
Thank
maintain the
you
property.
so much.
So to this day,
That's
like you know
it.
what I'm saying, I
I
would
got
have
10
my
acres
children
of
go
land.
out. I tell my
Check
kids,
this out.
hey, go fire that lawnmower up. Hey, you grab the weed eater, Kai, you grab the lawnmower. I'm gonna go over here with the rake.
There you
What would
go.
you say, grandson?
And we had little animals on our farms because we didn't go to no damn grocery stores. We had our own pigs,
Mm-mm.
cows, whatever, and we traded with each other, like other farmers on
Mm-hmm.
other parts of plantations. They might have had a pig, and you trade
They
them
still doing
a
that.
pig for a chicken. Yeah,
Sister Betty, they still doing that. Listen,
I believe it.
I'm from Monroe, North Carolina. Y'all can look that up. Right here, state line of the South Carolina, North Carolina. Union
Yep,
County, Lancaster County. When I
you
was
down there by where the Lumbies was at, right?
now the Lumbies is about maybe
Not that far if you on the line, because the Lumbies was on the line of South Carolina too. Oh, he in another bad area again.
Yeah.
He dri he driving.
Mm-hmm.
I
in this region is the Catawba, the Waxhaws, and the
Mm-hmm.
Camden. Right? So this would have been considered the Confederate Tiki chiefdom.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Camden precinct. A little ways
Okay.
out, you had the Petey's. So over
Yep.
there, the Lumbies was where the Petey were,
Mm-hmm.
the Sherralls, and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. That's a little way. That's like an hour and a half, 2 hours out.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So, and again, to get back to what we were saying, when I was a little boy, we talking like 91, 92.
Mm-hmm.
I was on that. I was putting up the fence for the cow, putting up the fence for the hogs, for the pigs. We talking about real country living, riding a horse around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We still doing that. People still trading goats for cars. They still
See,
doing that. This is still our culture. Like ain't much change. Like people like to stick to the foods and all of that. No, we still dealing with agricultural business.
facts. I believe
Matter
in.
of fact, D'Angelo Williams, the one of the he's I don't know if he still play with the Panthers. He just bought like I think 117 acres from my auntie. He
Oh
turned that.
wow.
Yes, mind you, we talked about this. I thought a white man bought that property because when I went out there was a white man at the gate, and I told him I was like, "Hey man, I grew up on this lake. Can I still fish?" And he said no. So I was under the impression that he owned that, and I was mad. I got at my family. I was furious. Come to find out, it was D'Angelo Williams who played for the Carolina Panthers. He done turned
Oh
the
wow.
lakeside where we had, mind you, we had what would be considered a small lake. It was probably like a give or take, maybe like a 10-acre pond. There was a concession building, a boat landing. We had a retaining wall. We had a long pier that was probably about 80 feet. He just bought all that. On that very side, there was about 80 acres of what was straight soybean. He knocked all of that stuff down and then turned that whole area into like some type of my uncle was just telling me the other night. He turned it into some kind of fun place for children.
Mm.
Now this is only part of our land. So we still got the other side. So it's nothing
Nice.
for me to go down there and find out. Like I can really pull up on homie and talk to him and you know what I mean and really give him the history of that land. But a little bit that I do know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still happening. My grandfather was talking about how they used to hog hunt out there. And this was the
Oh
80s.
God.
Sister Betty, can you
Oh.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm about to do real quick, I went and got my land. I'm about to show you it. I'm about to show you. As soon as I figure out how to turn this camera around, watch this. Can't make this up. Can't make this up. Here we go. Here we go. This is my land.
Beautiful.
10 acres.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man, grow something. If you
Acres.
not already, man, grow something,
10
bro.
acres. I got a pond right down here. This is my pond right down
Hey,
here.
where you at, man? I got 7 fishing rods.
Oh man, I'm about to have this restocked tomorrow. Once I get done cooking.
Where
This is
you
my
at, man? I'm
pond
trying to
right
come
here.
fishing, bro.
I'm man. I'm in Providence, Kentucky. It's established 1865.
How far is that
This is
from
my
Richmond?
family's land. I'm not playing no games. I went and
How
got
far?
all my
Hey,
stuff back.
hey, Smoke. How far is that from Richmond?
I don't know. This is my
Yeah.
pond out in front of my house.
And shout out to that, bro. Real shit.
You hear me?
Yes,
Congratulations.
sir.
Mm-hmm.
This
Salute,
is the pond
salute,
in front of my
Salute,
house.
salute, salute. It's beautiful.
salute, family.
Wow.
Oh, wait a minute. Sister Bethy, your man is sitting on 10 acres.
Yes,
Mm,
sir. Yes,
We're not
mm.
sir.
playing. Now, that's the front of my house.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yep, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I went and got the trampoline for the kids. I went and got the swing set, got the pool. You know what I'm saying? Got the little volleyball court. That's the coach house. That's a
Yes,
coach
sir.
house. That's a
That's
coach
what's
house.
up.
That's
Yes,
my house
sir.
over there. That's
Let,
my
let's
house
Beautiful.
get
over
in.
there.
Let's get into that because there's the notion
This
that
right
land was
here,
taken.
listen to me. Hold on, brother.
I'm gonna
This
let you go.
all back here. All back here. That's
You mean
all
as
mine.
far those?
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Well, I love that for
That's
you,
all
family.
mine.
Boy, I
That's how
love
much
that for
we
That's
you,
all
gotta
boy.
mine.
we
Oh,
gotta mow
You can't play
for
with
our
this.
And that's from
cookout.
Bucky. It's coming from Bucky. Boy, I love that for you, family. Real shit.
That's beautiful.
that's
This is
gorgeous.
all mine. I gotta mow this shit.
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh,
I got a motor too.
yes, sir.
I'm trying to tell you. Hey, guess
Beautiful.
what? Guess what it took me? It took me $300 to get my land back.
What?
Man, look, boy,
Three
you can't
hundred
put a
dollars.
price on that soil.
Are you
Three
serious?
hundred dollars. I'm
300
dead
for some
serious.
priceless shit, bro. Man, you up, boy.
Word.
Not
I know,
playing.
I know
Beautiful.
there's a whole big
Not
old
playing.
story with that
You
straight.
up. You up. Yeah, you gotta tell us
Word.
about
Yep.
that. You gotta tell us about your journey.
Not playing
Beautiful.
about it.
How
You
This
in
gotta
is
the
tell
for
us
world
real.
about
did
your
Beautiful.
you
journey, man.
how did you pay three
Beautiful.
hundred
Beautiful.
dollars
Beautiful.
10 acres of land?
Because I went and found the person that bought my fucking people's land, and I waited for them to be taxed,
There we
and
go.
I went and
There
got
we
the
go.
tax.
There we go. Sister
I put
Betty.
the lien on the property.
Sister
I
Yep.
put
Betty.
the
That's
lien
what we
on the
was talking
property.
about.
Yeah.
We would see drop a bomb. Nah, real shit, because this is what we was talking about, Sister Betty. Like a lot of things was not taken from us.
Right.
We
No,
was
it was
money was
taxed from us.
we was man, they brought monies.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Congratulations,
Oh
congratulations.
yeah.
This is for real.
Mm.
This is for real.
Very real.
I can't express to you enough.
Right.
I can't
So it's
express
like
to you enough.
how are we those people that y'all say we were if y'all coming over here buying shit?
Right.
Make it make sense. Y'all ain't take
Mhm.
everything. They may have taken something, but I don't know. I can't put my finger on that. But
Mhm.
y'all brought whatever, mind you. Some of that money was earned right here on the land. They took that money that they earned from working for us and bought from us.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
know that for damn sure because that happened with my people. Now I don't know what happened in the 1600s, but I know what happened in the 1700s and the 1800s. That land that what I was, I kind of went out the notion that it was lost or it was taken. That land was purchased. So if we
Mm.
are who y'all say we are when y'all got over here, how the hell are y'all coming over here? Like, come on, man. Let's what we doing? What we doing? Like I'm man, I'm turned up. Shout out to you, Smoke. No, shout out, hey, straight Smoke, shout out to you, family. Love that for you. Real shit.
No
Mhm.
Hey
kidding.
man,
Mm.
the only thing I'm doing is ensuring that my kids and my
That's
grandkids and
what
my
it's
great
about.
grandkids
That's
is
what it's
going to
about,
have
man.
one thing and
Right.
one thing only: their
That's what it's
own
about.
damn land. Their own damn land.
That's
This
what
is
it's
my
about,
shit.
bro. That's what it's
Over
Right.
with.
about. The children. The children are the future. We got to get this shit straight for them.
Mhm.
So
Shit,
so when my old lady talking about
I just taught
what
my
you
two
what you
oldest girls how to hit this zero turn motor. I got two zero turns. Y'all
man,
about to
come on, bro.
listen to me. Listen
Maintaining,
to me.
maintaining.
I got two football stadium worth of land for
Yep.
$300.
Boy,
Mm.
you cutting
Mm.
up.
Let's go.
That's what's up.
Boy,
Hell,
you about to
Let's
be a
go.
more. You about
congratulations,
to.
baby.
Boy, you gonna mow some grass. You got.
We got 20 out there in South Carolina, and that's 10 football fields. That's where we're gonna
Man.
be on August,
That's what I'm talking about.
July 26th. We having our great
Mhm.
cookout.
Yeah,
So
we having our campground meeting in August out in
yeah,
Lancaster.
We
okay.
about to
Yeah.
have one. Ours is going to be in Kilgore, Texas, on our land down there.
Nice.
Hey,
Mhm.
straight smoke.
But I want to get out of here, y'all, because I'm tired. It's almost 4 hours. I've been up since
Look, this
like
my first time
4:30.
on the panel.
I
I
I
know
love
know.
it's
y'all,
your
man.
time
Y'all be
too.
good.
You
Hop
gotta
off
come.
of here, man.
You gotta come up here and vibe again. I'll be live again tomorrow because I want to read that next Roman numeral.
I
Cause
gotta
that
share some stuff with you.
okay.
Yeah, I gotta share some stuff with you, man. I just found out, like, I found
I'll
out
hit
so
you
much.
up.
I
I'll
put
hit
my
you up,
phone down.
but I'm sleepy now. I want to go and relax and eat me something. I'm hungry. And this time, Copper Engineer, I'm definitely gonna call you.
Straight
Okay.
smoke.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
straight
Salute.
smoke. Kiss the
Salute.
babies. Kiss the
Yes, sir.
wives.
Shout out to the
Love
youngins,
y'all in the
man.
chat. If you
Mhm.
hang on, y'all gonna be redirected over the back.
We slide
Love
over there.
y'all.
Love.
All right.
Y'all.
Love, peace, and gravy, y'all.
Love, peace,
Really.
and blessings.